on Sports 1440.
Team career regular season goals. That's the franchise record.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
And now Shangus. To Democrat Green. 4 minutes. Ripping it off. Rebound inside. Whistle blown. Foul Rockets. And Draymond Green wanted the smoke versus Sengun.
Well, it is game day. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram, as we are coming to you live at OTR, Jasper Ave, and 118th Street, where tonight On the Rock's going to be hopping. You might want to call. Got a few rezos left. If you want to get in, watch the game, a pivotal game 5 tonight, the Oilers and the Los Angeles Kings. Of course, series is tied at 2. It's not much separating these two teams. Kings have scored one extra goal. Both of these teams are great on the power play in the series, and both are struggling on the penalty kill. Now, the Oilers' penalty kill, they feel it's going in the right direction after a slow start, where the Kings' penalty kill started great and now has gone downhill. So we'll see if that continues. The Oilers' power play is 80% in their last 2 games, and they'll try to continue that tonight. Oilers, no lineup changes. Calvin Pickard's going to start in goal. Now, you'll see the practice lines. We could have a lot of fun with how long do you think the lines stay, how they're starting. You had Nugent Hopkins with McDavid and Hyman skating together. Draisaitl back with Podkolzin and Arvidsson. I'm not even sold they'll start that way, to be honest. How many different line combinations have we seen in the series? I don't think it matters much. This group is used to playing with different guys. They're used to switching out on the fly. Even if the game's going well, the lines are switching because he likes to play Draisaitl McDavid after penalty kills, which makes a lot of sense. So I don't put too much stock in it. The D pairs will start the same, Kulak and Emberson. Now, how much Emberson plays probably depend. If the Oilers are winning and they're leading, he'll stay in the rotation. If they get to the point where they're trailing by a few goals, well, then he comes out because he doesn't add a whole bunch offensively. It's just how it is. More importantly, on the other side for the Kings is, are they just going to continue to run 9 forwards and 4 defensemen? Because when you break down the numbers, it's pretty significant. And how about this? So here we are. We are 4 games into the series. The LA Kings in the regular season, Adrian Kempe led their forward group in minutes played with 1909 per game. So just over 19 minutes. He was the only one. Fast forward to this series so far, they've had 6 forwards over 20 minutes. Right, so you're asking guys to suddenly, now every player will tell you they like playing more, sure. But if your body's not physically used to it, and now you're playing every second day where the minutes, like, let's be honest, 19, 20 minutes in the playoffs is much harder intense-wise than 19 or 20 minutes in the regular season. And I'm fascinated to see, because now maybe it was just last game, maybe it was just momentum, but in the third and fourth periods of those games, it wasn't close. The Oilers were all over them. They looked faster. Like, how many times have you watched an overtime period that had one team dominate, but then the other team comes back and they have their run? The Kings had no run in overtime. Like, nothing. They didn't have one quality chance. It was all Edmonton. And much of the third period was all Edmonton. Now, maybe that's because they're trailing and, Edmonton was desperate, possibly. But when you consider that every game, you look at the third period results here, Edmonton's come on. Is LA getting fatigued in game? To me, it's something to watch and see. Now, big storyline for me tonight. Chris Knobloch talked about it. The Oilers don't be passive to start. They've had one good start out of 4 games. That was in game 3. That's it. The rest, they got to get going here. Get on the road. You know what? I know that they seem to thrive when they make life difficult for themselves, but you don't have to do it. Just because it's worked in lots of series in the past doesn't mean you have to continue to do it. So, to me, that's a storyline to watch. It is the Gregor Show, as always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, your one-stop shop, boys and girls. If you want to get into the games, you like live dealer, lottery instance, and how about Lotto Max? Eric Carlson, $65 million up for grabs tonight, and 8 Max Million excess an extra 8 million up for grabs 8 times. So got lots of options. Go to PlayAlberta.ca. Hey, I'm Jason Gregor, live at OTR. Connor Halley back at Sports 1440 HQ. We should mention our new studio because at Sports 1440, it's under renovation. We're actually getting a brand new studio built in the back, and it's coming along, Con Man.
It is absolutely coming along. We've got 2 TVs in that studio, Gregor. I don't know if we're going to watch the same thing or different things, but yeah, it's looking really good. Shout out to the construction crew here because it seems like just like 3 weeks ago, it was nothing. It went up overnight, and it's really looking good in there.
Yeah, the peeps at Belvan. So thanks to them. Also, I do want to say a big shout out to Liam and Mike and Eli and the gang down at Fire Hall number 1. Last night, we did that rooftop auction for muscular dystrophy. And part of it was, you got a ride to the hall, and then you had dinner and everything. But what they didn't tell me, and I ended up bidding on it because I really wanted to do it, something I've always kind of been interested in. Well, we got the tour of a con, but we also got to do ride-alongs. And any firefighter out there, Fire Hall number 1 is pretty busy. And it was just wild kind of getting for a few hours a sense of what it was like to be a firefighter. I just like to apologize to Eli. They made me do it. So Eli's the rookie. You learn lots of things at the rookie Fire Hall cons. And I guess when you're the rookie, you get bucketed. And so it's like a bucket of water. At any point, you can just spray it on. And so I was like hiding in a hallway because they gave it to me. Like, yeah, when he comes in off of this last shift, you bucket him. And now I was laughing, but still, it's like, geez. So, little things you learn. That's just part of it. And you know how long you're a rookie for, Cons? A year.
Yeah.
Lowest man or woman on the totem pole. So just kind of how it goes. But it was, it's fascinating to get an inside look at it. And I recommend this to anyone. You got to ride in all the trucks, the pumper trucks, the ladder truck, man. Got a whole tour of everything. It's fascinating facility. So shout out to everybody there. The food from 19 was unbelievable, hand catered. So we'll do that auction again next year. I highly recommend it to people. It exceeded my expectations by a long shot. So kudos to those fellas. They actually, their hall in Edmonton, all the Edmonton ones, they raised the most money across Canada because it's a big initiative that all the firefighters do to help out muscular dystrophy. And Edmonton, no surprise, it's a very generous place, but they raise the most money across the country. So kudos to all them, and thanks for being a great, hospitable host. We had an awesome time last night. And now we get set for Game 5. Looking forward to it. We got lots to discuss on the show today. Of course, Dennis Bernstein will join us. Him and Jim Hiller going at it again. I love it. So, hey, Hiller didn't love the fact that his team is sucked in the third period, and Dennis just pointed it out. So, talking to him about that. Farhan Lalji will join us. The Elks have made 2 picks already. Now, the actual, the Canadian draft goes tonight, starting at 4 o'clock our time. The Elks do not have a first-round selection, but they did have 2 picks in the global draft, and they took 2 linebackers. Richard Gibonor, who is a linebacker / edge player, spent 4 seasons at Troy University. And they also took Alex Reich, who was born in Switzerland and played at the University of Kansas for the Jayhawks. So there you go. We'll talk to probably going to talk to Ed Hervey tomorrow on the show after the CFL draft goes. So a busy day in the CFL, both the global and the Canadian draft going today. And the other thing we should discuss about the Elks is They did add one other piece. Danny Nesbitt's the defensive quality control coach. I'm not sure he mentioned that a while back. So a small little addition to the coaching staff for the green and gold. And we're getting closer, man. Training camp's right around the corner. How many people are like, there's a lot of curiosity around the green and gold. They make a lot of changes. Obviously, Chris Morris comes in as president CEO. You got Ed Hervey as the general manager. You got Mark Killam as the head coach. You got JC Sherrod as the defensive coordinator. Got Jordan Maximic back as the OC. Like massive changes. Demetrius Maxi's in. Jason Tucker. Like they're Aaron Grimes. Tristan Dice. Like it's changes all across the board. Not to mention the D line. They've added some offensive linemen. And we mentioned Hollins yesterday at the receiving core. Like on paper, the team looks better. Cons, what's your expectations for the green and gold? Like is 500, 9-9, like is that anything below that a failure for this? Or is that successful season for you, 9-9?
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be a big success just based off what we had seen, in previous years and the trajectory. But I mean, I just think with this coaching staff, I have higher expectations. I feel like they're going to be ready to go. We heard about Coach Killam. He has his players prepped. And there was games where it didn't feel like that in the past, where maybe, they had a slow start and they were playing from behind. Like that doesn't seem like that's going to be a thing. And then we saw some really good things from this team when it came to the offensive line gelling in the second half of the season. Trey Ford getting to play more games in the running attack and just how strong it was. And you add that with some of the players that Ed Hervey's brought in at the wideout position and the free agent class that they had on the defensive side of the ball. Like 9-9, I think for sure is definitely attainable. It's going to have to be, not what they did last year though, because we had the slow start. We saw that and they had to, fight back in almost every game to get going. And then once they figured it out, we saw them start to reel off a few wins. I think it's got to be a start to the season a lot quicker. And I have expectation that that's going to happen with the man in charge leading it for the green and gold.
Hey, Greg's, we got a lot of texts coming in already. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Other news looks like, and this isn't a shock, but Rick Tocchet not coming back to Vancouver. You wonder why. I've mentioned this all year long. Dysfunction does not breed success. Okay? The Vancouver Canucks, two things are going to happen here for the organization. They're either going to continue to fool themselves and believe that the dysfunction is, it's just started by people outside the organization. False. Or they're going to say, you know what? We got to have an internal review and change how we do things. And here's the problem though, Cons. It's ownership. And so you can have the best coach, you can have the best GM, you can have lots of other things, but if the owner doesn't want to change, it ain't going to matter. And that to me is a big concern. And he's got to be realistic. He's going to have to look and say, the path we're going down is the path to Quinn Hughes leaving in 2 years. And then what? Like, no offense. It's not like Vancouver is consistently, deathly loyal and showing up every game. So now the fans, you know what? If they don't want to support their team, I never rip on fans. Wow, you should just blindly support the team and pay all the money that they're asking. No. I'll tell you right now, there's going to be a dip in order season tickets next year because they raised the price. And some fans are like, no mas, I'm tapping out, man. It's too expensive. I'll just pick out some single tickets here or there. All right, it happens. And that's a team that wins. You're a team that's losing, and now you're, potentially, if you don't change things around and go in the right direction, you can easily see fan interest dwindling, waning, and people saying, hey, not supporting that guy. So we'll see if owner has a change of heart. But that's a big reason why I think you're seeing Rick Tocchet not return to Vancouver. Now, there's some other options out there. He'll be well sought after. Does he want to go to Philly? What about Pittsburgh? He's been there, right? The New York Rangers, Boston Bruins. There are going to be a lot of teams that are interested in him. I don't see him going to Seattle. I'd be quite surprised. Chicago, Anaheim. I think he probably wants to go as a coach. Like, the most competitive team that needs a head coach right now is the New York Rangers. So I'm curious to kind of see where he goes. So also Struddy will be by. We'll hear from Dave McCarthy, Spec, live from LA. Derek Van Diest will join us. We'll take your text, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, Gregor, the Elks lack a QB. They have an athlete learning to be a QB with no proof he can. Curtis, what do you base those numbers on? Why don't you look at his actual statistics? Look at his touchdown interception ratio. Look at his completion percentage. So you can say that you think he's learning how to be a QB. They all still are. But for a guy who's learning, he's got pretty damn good numbers. To suggest they don't have a good quarterback, to me, I don't. Back up the numbers that show he's a bad quarterback. That's what I want. Show me the numbers that say he's a bad quarterback. I'm curious to find them. Where's all the interception? Where's all the incompletions? Where is it? So what is he that he's so bad at? Because I don't see it. So maybe there's some numbers you see. Please let me know, because I definitely don't see it. Hey, guys, I don't get why the coaching staff goes back to Nurse and Bouchard. Split them up in the third period and we got better. So I start the game that way, hope for success instead of going right back to what isn't working. Makes zero sense from Bad Nib. Well, keep in mind, in the third period, they went to a five-man rotation. So that had part to do with it. There is some truth for sure that Nurse and Bouchard had one outstanding year together. Not lately. So, but the funny thing is, when you look at the goals that were scored against them in Game 4, I really don't think any of them had to do with them being a pair. Darnell Nurse going behind the net and just rimming it rather than, going back against the grain to a wide open Bouchard. I don't really blame Evan Bouchard on that one. And then on the other play, right, when Bouchard has a turnover inside the offensive zone, I don't really blame Nurse for that one. And it's not like, these guys playing together. If somehow somebody else was on the ice with them, those individual plays wouldn't have happened. I think in the moment, you simply want a little bit better of a decision, right? But I'd have no problem, Nurse and Kulak. If you look at in the third period, yeah, Nurse and Kulak started, but you know who Bouchard's first shift on the ice was in the third period? Darnell Nurse. Then he was with Wallman, and then Klingberg changed on the fly, right? Then they had guys changing on the fly quite a bit. So I'm going through the shift chart. Then Bouchard was with Kulak the next time. Then Nurse comes out. He's back with Klingberg. So they rotated around. They only had, if I'm looking and I'm seeing it correctly, in the third period, I think they were only on the ice for 2 or 3 shifts together. But like I said, I don't put too much stock in what they start the game with. Doesn't mean they're going to end it with. You might see them have Bouchard and Nurse lined up together, and the first shift of the game, which has actually been Nurse and Kulak to start well, definitely in Edmonton, they started together. So I don't get too caught up under Knobloch. He switches lines a lot. He tries lots of different combinations, and the way the game's going is going to impact who's going to play with who and how much. Quick break. We'll come back. Bernstein will join us from LA. Hey, are they just going to keep running 9 forwards and 4 defensemen? Do they have the gas to last? And also, I'm going to let Dennis listen to what Kevin Woodley told us yesterday about how the Oilers are attacking Darcy Kemper. Because would it surprise you that in the playoffs, even though Darcy Kemper's goals against and save percentage are much lower than the regular season, it is a very small sample size. But in the 4 games, he's actually had a better goalie environment and an expected save percentage higher than what it was in the regular season. The Oilers have just done a good job of knowing how to score on on Kemper. And Woodley explains why. So we'll play that when we return on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada with sports and entertainment properties, including the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League's Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility, is open in Nisku, which features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant with a viewing area.
If you bleed orange and blue and you're not using the all-new Play Alberta Sports and Casino app, then you're missing out. It's the only online sportsbook with odds boosts on all Oilers games. And now, it's not just sports. Play the slots, hit the tables, buy lottery tickets, all in one app, all across Alberta. Download Play Alberta now from your phone's app store and use promo code GOAL for a $100 bonus. That's promo code GOAL!
Noodle, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, oodle, noodle, nood. Noodle, noodle, nood, 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 oodle, noodle, nood, oodle, nood, oodle, nood. Noodle, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, oodle, noodle, nood. Noodle, noodle, nood, 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 oodle, noodle, nood.
Throw a load down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need, Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
There's one. And another. No, not spring flowers yet, but rather huge deals. It's GMC's Truck Month at Wolf GMC Buick. Nab 0% financing up to 72 months on our most popular Sierra half-tons, or massive discounts starting at $8,000. Choose your truck from a great selection, like the fabulous all-new Canyon, right up to the trailer-hauling Sierra HD with the industry-leading Duramax diesel. Spring into Wolf GMC Buick today and snag your truck, and see the savings at wolfgmcbuick.com.
Thursday, May 8th is McHappy Day, when every menu item purchased at McDonald's helps support families with sick children. So you can feel the good that comes from doing good, just from ordering.
So if I order a Big Mac, I'm helping.
Yup.
What about a McFlurry? 10-piece chicken McNuggets and apple pie?
You got it. Every single order helps. Join us at McDonald's for McHappy Day on Thursday, May 8th. Do good, feel good. A portion of food and beverage sales will support RMHC chapters and local children's charities across Canada.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Watch every Oilers game at OTR with $5.25 Molson Canadian, $5 Pink Whitney shots, and 60-cent wings. Plus, play Oilers Score and Win for your chance to win On the Rocks gift cards. Oilers hockey at OTR. Book your table today. Jasper Ave and 118th.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Game day rolls on. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you live at On the Rocks, Jasper Ave, and 118th Street, the calm before the storm. It's going to be another packed house here. Ooh, and guess what? It's Tuesday, baby. Taco Tuesday at OTR. So not only could get great drink special, but $2 tacos tonight. And if you want to share it with all your friends, you get the big taco platter. Oh, they're good. I think it's Donair tacos tonight. Oh, my. You know what, Cons? Just to be the guinea pig for everybody else. I think I might have to try one just to do it. I'll go on a limb here and I'll take one for the team and I'll try the Donair tacos.
Very noble of you.
No, I know. Hey, that's that's what happens in life. Somebody's got to do it. So might as well be me. Now let's get to talking Oilers and the Kings as we get to our playoff report, brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. And Truck Month continues on at GMC. Get a $5,000 cash purchase credit on 2025 Sierra HD model right now at your Alberta GMC dealers. Check more at gmccanada.ca. Dennis Bernstein from the fourth period joins us. DB, how you doing?
Doing great, Jason. A pivotal Game 5 tonight. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with another visit to the JW Marriott and Rogers Place and all you great people in Edmonton. So I'm one LA media guy that's happy to go back for a Game 6. But this is, Jason, it's not hyperbole. One of the most, if not the most important games in the last decade for the LA Kings franchise tonight.
I was just about to ask you, do you sense there's more on the line tonight for the Kings and the Oilers?
You can, when you interact with people from the organization, you can cut the tension with a knife. There's a lot at stake because this is so emotional, Jason. You know, just juxtapose this 72, 96 hours ago. You're on the way to beating your playoff dragon, the team that's tormented you for 4 years. You're on your way. They'd have to beat you 4 out of 5. And now it's 2-2, it's even. And all the momentum, if you believe in momentum from game to game, has to be certainly with the Edmonton Oilers. And look, I'm going to address this right now. Like, everybody saw the interaction between myself and Jim Hiller. And so you could see what kind of tension there's after Game 4. At the morning skate today, he walked in. He was contrite. He asked for a reset. And Jason, you would have loved the poker face I gave to him, because I just stepped there stone face. I go, okay. But we're moving on to Game 5 tonight, which is, again, a very, very important. But yeah, it's you know what? It's a much more emotional series for the team that's gotten their brains bitten for 3 years than the one that's won for 3 years. So it's much more emotional on the Kings side.
Oh, 100%. And now, you know, Hiller, he wants to reset. I you know what? I respect that. Guys are emotional right after games. I get it. I don't take it personal. I'm sure. And you being around lots, DB, I'm sure you've had a few tete-a-tetes. It's not a big deal. But your question was valid, like, about the third period. It's been an issue. But more importantly, like, I was looking up the numbers today for the Kings. Like, in the regular season, Adrian Kempe led all their forwards with 19 minutes a game. He was the only one. They got 7 guys over that right now. And playoff minutes are way harder than regular season minutes. We'd all agree. Do they got other guys? Like, does the coaching staff have to trust his fourth line more? What do they got to do here? Because I actually crunched the numbers just looking at the bottom, the third pair of defenders, the fourth line of forwards, and Edmonton's running their guys way more. And maybe that's why they're fresher in the third.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, Jason. I looked at, after Game 3, before Game 4, I looked at time on ice. All this, let's talk about just the centers, right? All the top 3 Kings centers, all their time on ice was elevated by 2.5 minutes. Like, Kopitar was at 18, he's at 21.5. And same thing with Deneau and Byfield. Now, Byfield's 21, it would probably affect us most. And actually, Connor and Leon actually played a little tad less in the regular season. Does that matter? I asked Hiller about that. He goes, we'll see after tonight. So, but I get an inkling that they have to play the fourth line more, because I think you're going to see Alex Turcotte for Trevor Lewis. I don't know how you can get away with playing fourth line guys 3 minutes a night in the playoffs. I agree with you, especially when you're defending and the ice is tilted in the third period and you have to defend those majority of those minutes. It's difficult for a team that rolled 4 lines, that did that in like the first 2 games and did it throughout the regular season. There is less trust, but you see, if you put Turcotte in, you know what you have? You have 3 rookies on the fourth line. Right. I think that's part of the reason, if not the entire reason, why Trevor Lewis was in. But you talk guys like Jordan Spence, 16 minutes a night, Jason. He played 231 in Game 3 and got scratched. It's tough, because even if you win the series, not only are you going to be exhausted for 6 and 7, what about the next round? So they have to utilize a fourth man. Now, maybe home matchups better, situational on offensive zones. Face off, you go with your fourth line. I don't think you can get away with playing like Sammy Helaney's played, I think, 3 minutes. Didn't play after the first period. Can't do it. It just won't work in the playoffs.
What do you make of the Jordan Spence? Because you're right, he played 16:47. Now, I know that Drew Doughty was out 50 games, so that maybe adds a minute or 2 here. But like, was his play that poor down the stretch, Dennis, that he goes from a guy who can you feel, hey, we can play him 60 minutes a night, that we can't even play him 2 minutes a game?
Yeah, well, 16 minutes a night, Jason, is a second pair defenseman. So you're taking a second pair defenseman. Like, it's because somewhat Doughty, but I think it's also because of a Gavrikov. They trust Gavrikov so much that they can flip him to the right side, because he did it, and he's a left shot, but he went to the right side when Drew got hurt and helped save the season along with the Darcy Kemper. So I think that's part of it. It's just, look, Spence is maybe 5'10", 185. The physicality in front of the net that Corey Perry or Evander Kane brings, that might be difficult for him to handle. But again, there's some curious decisions with respect to deployment. I'm not sure it's going to continue. I assume Spence is going to be in tonight, but you got to play. You can't exhaust these guys. You can't play, like, I know it was overtime. you can't play Edmonton 35 minutes. Like, what do you think how do you think he's going to respond for the balance of the series? You're going to have to be able to trust the players that you trusted in the regular season now in a very pivotal Game 5.
Dennis Bernstein joins us, Sports 1440. The matchups, Dennis, like I've been crunching the numbers, looking into it. There's not a huge difference. That Edmonton feels comfortable. They'll play certain lines, and Edmonton changes their lineup every game. Heck, they play change every period. So I don't know, but obviously, if we're just looking at McDavid, and in practice, it looks like him and Draisaitl will start apart, but who knows how long that lasts. It did work in Game 3. From an LA side of things, like Kempe's being their most dangerous guy. He was definitely in LA. He was a little bit quieter in Edmonton. What do they need to get him back on track at home tonight?
I just think matchups. I think you want to try to get him out against the bottom 4 defensemen, which he had success for in the first couple of games. And you can't score a goal maybe Connor or Leon can score a goal every game or get a point every game, but it's tough. And I just think what happened when Jason is the first 2 games, I think that the Oilers paid more attention to Adrian Kempe. They looked up and said, oh, yeah, he does have 15 goals in 21 games. Maybe we need to stop him. Now, the one luxury the Kings have, or if you do stop him, you still can win games. And I'll go back. If you're a Kings fan and you're fretting right now, I think the only thing you can really hang your hat on, with not momentum, but the Oilers have led for less than 30 minutes in the series.
Yeah, I know.
Right? So that's 7 minutes a night, right? So you've played well. It's why do you shift your mode of play after 40 minutes to what you did in 3 and 4. And that's the whole conversation. That's all it's about. So I think they'll try to take more advantage of matchups because they have the home ice advantage. But I expect that if they're going to try to put Adrian in the time and place and spots where he can get off that very dangerous wrist shot.
Well, yeah, his wrist shot's been unreal. Some of the goals he scored. Dennis Bernstein joins us. And, Dennis, the one thing that's historically, it's like 87%. In the 4 years, the team who scores first wins. The Oilers are 12-1. The Kings are 7-2. Edmonton's actually 5-0 when they score first in LA. And you talked about kind of that stress and tension around the organization. Like they were 29 seconds away from a 3-1 lead, and then they had nothing in overtime. You and I have watched a ton of hockey. Like usually the momentum switches at some point in overtime, right? Some teams there, they're on the ropes, they're taking a few body blows, and then suddenly they come back and land. They didn't land any shots. You mentioned kind of like when you talk to the players, like, is there frustration? Is there any self-doubt, do you think, at all for this team that they just can't beat Edmonton?
No, I don't think so. I don't think we're at that point right now. I think JG, if they lose tonight, there will certainly be frustration and doubt. I think it's a coach's job to keep this team positive, right? Absolutely. That's the message. Like you got to go and say, hey, we've led this series virtually almost the entire time. Like, so let's go out and finish the game. That's just the only message you need to do, because I assume that they think that they can get a lead. They have to be able to finish the game. So lack of confidence, I don't think so. And, for a guy who everybody loves in Edmonton, certainly one guy who doesn't lack confidence is Warren Fogle. And you talk to him after the game, they're disappointed. Are they crestfallen? No. The thing about it, because the way this is rolled out and the way this is at this point, Jason, it's almost like the Kings trailed the series 2-2. That's what it felt like around the team after Game 4. Now, it is only 2-2. You have 2 games at home. You play phenomenally well at home. You've won the 2 home games in these series. So, no, I don't think it's a situation where they're – but – they need to be more desperate. If it's another scenario where they have a lead going to third, they've got to be the desperate team. They got to play like they're playing from the pond. And you know what? If they get other ways, if they get other, the Oilers get opportunities the other way, that's fine. Because what they did in Game 4, and you mentioned the overtime, they wasted a heroic performance from Darcy Kemper. That was heroic. Like, you know what? That would have went down in the annals of Kings playoff history as one of the greatest goaltending performances had they won the game, and they wasted it. So is there concern? There has to be. Is there doubt? Not yet.
Now, lastly, Dennis, you mentioned Kemper and his numbers. Like, it's funny, like him and Hellebuck, the guys who are 1-2 and battling, and Kemper actually had the best goals saved above expected at 22, which is 2.5 more than Hellebuck in the regular season. And Kevin Woodley, who's a goalie guy, talked about how, in the regular season, actually, LA's quote goalie environment was harder this year than the previous years. But Kemper, like, he was full marks. He played great.
He was. Yes.
But in the playoffs, Woodley talked about, he did a scouting report, and he says they're attacking because every goalie has a weakness, according to Woodley. It doesn't matter who you are. We've seen it with Hellebuck. You want long shot screens, get traffic, and every goalie's got one. The Oilers are really attacking on Kemper from below the goal line, right? Try to get
Yes.
him going side to side.
Yep,
And
yep.
how do you think the Kings can counter that?
They have to be physical in front of the net. Like the tying goal in Game 3, that was all physicality. That was Vander Kane going into the crease. That's how you do it. And it's the same thing with Hellebuck to some extent. He hasn't been great, but the guys in front of him haven't been stopping anybody. They've been getting time and space and traffic in front of the net. The St. Louis Blues, same thing here. You have to push these guys out of the crease. And you're right, because the fourth goal, he's flopping around on his back. He didn't even know where the puck was. So yeah, that's the only way you could do it. And the Kings they're not Vegas with respect to defense. They don't have a big physical defense like that. They have, Edmonton's big, some size on Gavrikov, but that's going to be the key. If they can clear out that crease and not let Perry and Kane get in there, who've been the two main crap disturbers around the crease, I think that's the way to give more cover to Darcy Kuemper.
DB, always good to catch up with you, man. Enjoy the game. Well, we'll see you back in Edmonton on Thursday.
Yeah, stay tuned for the press conference in Game 5. You never know what will happen.
Awesome, buddy. Have a good one.
Cheers.
There you go. That's Dennis Bernstein. For those who don't know, Hiller was pretty fired up after DB. I thought his questions were fair, actually. Just like, because you look at the third period, the Oilers tied the game, came from behind in Game 3, came from behind 2-goal deficit in the third period, tied it, and then completely dominated overtime. And if you look at this game, all the numbers, the first 40 minutes, the Kings have been the better team. Not really that close. Edmonton has been the dominant team in the third period. Now, there's only been one overtime period. So logistically, you would look and say, geez, you know what? You don't want, like LA would say, hey, if we can be better for 40 minutes out of 60, in theory, that should help us. Now, the problem has been that Edmonton's really dominated in the third period. And that's allowed them to win. Now, they dominated Game 1 the third period. They came all the way back, but they didn't complete it. So, while that's great, it doesn't help you as much, because this time of season, it's all about wins. You can play like junk. Your goalie can stand on his head. You win. That's all you care about, right? You can play poorly, get a few lucky breaks. You can win. Awesome. It doesn't. You don't critique wins nearly as hard in the playoffs. You look at some things where you're like, hey, you know what? We might have got away with one. And over the course of a playoff run to a Stanley Cup, every team who gets to the Stanley Cup final has a game or two where they, quote, got away with one. Maybe you didn't win a game you deserved. That's just how it's going to be, right? It's not like the best team wins every night in the NHL playoffs. You need a little bit of breaks for sure. But, Dennis's point, I think it's valid. Like, you just think about all of us. You're out there, doesn't matter what you do in life. There are times when you're probably more confident in a situation, and then other times you're less confident. And a lot of it just has to do with human psyche and something that's happened previously. You're the LA Kings, and you haven't beaten the Oilers 3 years in a row. Now, there's some new guys on the team, yes, but it's mainly the same core. Kempe, Deneau, Kopitar, Anderson, Doughty, right? You have a new goalie every year. It doesn't like they keep changing goalies. Doesn't matter. Quick, Korpisalo, Talbot, Rittich, now Darcy Kuemper. And Darcy Kuemper had the best numbers of all of them. Not really close. He's a Vezina finalist. Probably going to finish second. But look what the Oilers have done in the playoffs. And this is where, and Woodley talked about it, the goalie coach's job is to do the pre-scouting. Got to give Schwartz credit because they found the weakness. We saw it last year, especially in that Vancouver series on Shelovs. You know what? They really lit him up later on in the series. You look at this series against Kuemper, and Kevin talked, well, and we'll play that clip when we come back and let you hear break down exactly what the Oilers are doing that has led to their success. And funny enough, outside of maybe the overtime against LA where they really dominated, if you look at the overall minutes in the series, the Kings have actually given Kuemper a better overall. Now we can debate, are the numbers, do they work all the time, but a better overall environment for a goaltender. And his numbers don't match it. Now, Calvin Pickard, he came in, he's played well in his 2 games. He's also had a better environment, but the bigger difference is he's saved, a few more high danger chances, which is what you're going to need. No question. You got to have some saves, yes. Now, his high danger chances, he still hasn't faced as many, but he did make, I thought, 2 pretty key saves in that game. Now, the other thing to watch for tonight, The Edmonton Oilers' first 5 minutes of game 4, I think that was their worst 5 minutes of the series. They were dreadful. They were giving up 2-on runs, odd man rushes, just like it was, you know what, they had an ice cream truck coming down the street giving out free candy. It was unbelievable. Lucky part was the Kings didn't capitalize. Fiala missed the net on his shot. Another 2-on-1, they didn't even get a shot. The other one, pass went over the stick. But the Oilers, that first 5 minutes, I went back and rewatched again. It was brutal. So they're going to need to be better out of the gate. They've had, what, one good start in the series? That's it. 25%, not good enough. So they'll have to be much, much better, I believe, when puck drops tonight. We'll return. We got lots more Oiler talk. We'll also talk a little CFL draft. I think we might be hearing from, are we hearing from Rolly the goalie today, Conman? No, we're not. That's unfortunate. But started with by McCarthy, Spec, DVD, and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, live at On the Rocks. Jasper Ave, 118th, your place to watch the game tonight, and of course Thursday, which could be a potential clinching Game 6 scenario for the Edmonton Oilers.
Hold on to your hockey helmet, Edmonton. On the Rocks is serving up 60-cent wings that fly off the plate faster than a slap shot. And Molson Canadians for $5.25. OTR's TVs, hey, they're so clear you'll see the puck better than the ref. That ain't hard, is it? And every game night during Edmonton's playoff run, specials start 30 minutes before puck drop and last for the whole game. Be a part of the legend. See the menu at ontherocksyeg.com.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at Cantork.com.
I won't shave till we bring home the cup. And I like to do a shot for every playoff goal.
My jersey's not coming off until we're the city of champs again.
Want a playoff superstition that always wins? Pick up a bag of Wilhauk beef jerky for every game. Because when it comes to the playoffs, where there's a Wilhauk, there's a way.
Make every playoff game a Will Hockey game day with Wilhauk beef jerky. Only available in Leduc. Get yours today, because you don't bring home the cup with salad.
If you or someone you care for are injured in a motor vehicle accident, please listen up. I'm Grant Fedoruk from Leading Edge Physiotherapy, and let me proudly say that we won't be the place your insurer tells you to go. We won't be the place because we don't sign agreements with the insurance company. We don't work for them, we work for you. We do want to be the place that your friends, family, and other medically trained professionals send you. So if your insurance company says that you have to see their therapist, you should know that's not true. You have the right to choose where you go, and we hope you choose us. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
At Fountain Tire, we're all about one thing: taking care of your vehicle. Oh, and your wallet. I guess that's two things. Save up to 20% off select tires until June 14th. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together.
DJ Booster coming at you live with warmer weather, longer days, and dropping 2 new booster mixes for April from Booster Juice. Pucker up, party people! The Zesty Berry Booster Mixer features raspberry and lemon in perfect harmony. Then turn it all the way up with Mango Mango Booster Mixer with delicious mango and pineapple notes.
Mix it up with the new Booster Mixers at Booster Juice. Canadian-born, blending since 1999. Download the Booster Rewards app and order one today.
Mr. Rooter hits the lick.
So I tell the guy it's leaking because you have a hole-in-one.
Hey, Mr. Rooter, you have a better chance of hitting the green with a crescent wrench, you bum.
Oh, boy. It's my rival, Mr. Plunger.
You swing a club like you plumb. Lousy.
Lousy, eh? Hey, Mr. Plunger, there's a clog down there that even you could fix.
For a plumber you can trust, call Mr. Rooter.
Spring, where everything is coming up roses, except for GS Construction. We're heading underground, and we couldn't be happier. Spring is always a busy time of year for everyone trying to get out there and do some work. Well, GS Construction agrees, and we also agree that we just might need some help. So if you're looking to work and join a group where safety, teamwork, and continuous improvement have been at our core since 1974, send us a resume. Come work with us this spring. Visit gsconstruction.ca today.
Imagine a family get-together where the smiles are as genuine as the conversations. That's the feeling you get at Nisku Ford. a family-owned dealership where finding a new Ford feels just like catching up with old friends.
Stop by the showroom throughout March and April for all the details about Nisku Ford's Keys for 10K giveaway. Just imagine the spring trips, plans, and projects you could pay for.
The coffee's on, so drive into Nisku Ford or visit niskuford.ca today. Above expectations. Play.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantork.com.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We continue on to 46. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram, coming to you live on the Rocks, Jasper Ave, 118th Street, where tonight the Edmonton Oilers have a chance to win Game 5 for the third time in 4 years. If you recall, the only time they lost Game 5 was back in 2022. That was on home ice in Edmonton. Then the Oilers went into LA, won Game 6 before coming home. Cody Ceci opened the scoring. McDavid had the insurance goal, and they got the shutout that night. Mike Smith, they won Game 7. Then the next year, won Game 5 at home, won Game 6 in LA. Last year, won Game 5 at home, ended the series. So they'll look to win Game 5 for a third consecutive season. And the winner of Game 5, no surprise, obviously, but if you look up in the history of NHL playoffs and Game 7 series, I should say that the team who wins 3-2, their odds of winning the series 79.2%. They have won 357 of the of Game 6s and lost it 94 times. So not bad at all. That's to win. If you're leading 3-2, your odds of winning Game 6 pretty good. So now I think if you're it's actually, and you know, it's funny. People will say, well, what about you're the road team? So you're 3-2, and now you're going to be at home for Game 6. The record is actually. Those teams now, I guess in theory, you are supposedly the lesser of the two teams. Teams who are the home team in Game 6, they've won 76.9% of the time. Teams who are at home have won 80.7%. So who are the started at home and then go to Game 6. So better chance to win it on the road theoretically, but. I think a lot of people could make the argument that the Edmonton Oilers, when you look at how close they were to the Kings in the regular season, if their guys didn't get hurt down the stretch, maybe they finish second. So we'll see. Now, here is that Kevin Woodley clip I was talking to you about. Here's Woodley describing what he's seen as to why the Oilers have had so much success scoring goals on Kemper so far in this series.
No, he's not making as many saves. The environment's actually better. Like, this is the thing. We had the Vezina Trophy finalists this year. Vasilevsky, Hellebuck, and Darcy Kemper. I said to somebody, oh, what do you know? 2 of the 3 Vezina Trophy finalists were in the most friendly defensive environments for starters in the NHL.
Yeah.
Now, what's going to be your assumption when I say that? Which of the 2 are the goalies that were in the friendliest environment?
Kemper and Hellebuck.
Right, but it's not. It's Vasilevsky and Hellebuck.
Okay.
Darcy Kemper, the Kings opened things up a little bit, whether it was on purpose or not. I know there were some system changes early. They gave up more in front of Kemper this year. He was full value this season for the Vezina Trophy nomination. As a matter of fact, in the regular season, He led the NHL in goals saved above expected at 22, which was 2.5 better than Connor Halley. So the environment for him was tougher this season, at an expected save percentage of .893, which is just slightly above the league average.
Okay.
In the playoffs so far, that expected is .903. So similar to what we've seen for Pickard. Like, it's been a goalie-friendly environment overall. The difference I see, and the Kings with those quick hitters, of course they're not going to have possession time, because where are most of those quick hitters you're talking about coming from? Turnovers and off the rush. Where LA is getting got, so to speak, by the Oilers when they're in zone is their ability to attack around and below the goal line. And I talked to you a little bit going into this series about that tendency to go paddle down and reach with a little bit.
Yeah.
I think he's reined it in as the series has gone on, because he's recognized that he's reaching with a blocker to his right while they're passing to his left, which is never good. Just the way they're attacking him in and off his posts is a really good job, I think, of the pre-scout. I'm assuming that's Dustin Schwartz, because it's usually the goalie coach's job. They're getting him stretched out and in some really uncomfortable positions by making him go back and forth off dead angles. At times, it looks like he's coming out of his system when he does that, and he's getting sprawled out, and he's getting splayed out, and he's getting extended, and we're seeing some awkward positions, like the one they challenged on the Evander Kane one, right? So I think it's what they're doing with it. And then they work it back up high on the power play, and Bouchard's teeing off on a one-timer. They're just doing a really nice job. It's one thing to be in the zone. It's another thing to create dynamic east-west plays when you're in the zone. And the Oilers obviously have the skill to do that. But where they've had their most success creating high danger is down below the hash marks, east-west, out from the goal line, making Kemper go side to side, like I said, from dead angles and from with plays behind the net. It's sort of shown a couple of limitations in his movement on those, and it's got him, even when it's not directly to a scoring chance, it gets him behind on sequences. So if you move the puck around and behind and then start feeding it up to the top, if he's behind going side to side, late side to side eyes or late back to front eyes, he's not getting up to the top of the crease on those shots like you would like to see.
Pretty good definition, explanation as always from Woodley. And so watch for that. And even my article today showed, you remember the first shift of the second period in game 4? Arvidsson comes flying down the right side, circles all the way behind the net, comes up the left side, and Kemper follows him. And then he slides it across the crease to Draisaitl. And Draisaitl just unable to finish. But there's a play that comes from behind the net, and how Kemper's reading it, coming from, for whatever reason, when you come from behind the net and then go across, he's a little bit slower. And you go watch that replay. Like, I would say 98 out of 100 times Draisaitl scores there. And he just missed the puck. So watch for the Oilers tonight. It doesn't mean you do it every time, but they'd like to generate plays. And the other thing, obviously, we've seen, I thought they really increased their willingness to go to the net in games 3 and 4. Saw a lot more traffic around the net, and I think that led to a few goals. Right? Obviously, the Kane one, you look at even Bouchard's goal, there's traffic in front. Now, I got a little bit lucky. Hit a leg. You need that. But because when you go to the front of the net, you're also bringing a defender with you. And that just can create, at times, a little bit more chaos. Sometimes you get lucky. You get an own goal, like we saw. The Canucks have sent out this press release in regards to Rick Tocchet leaving. Quote, this one from GM Jim Rutherford. After a very long and thorough process, unfortunately, Rick has decided to leave the Canucks. It's very disappointing news, but we respect his decision to move on for a new chapter in his hockey career. We did everything in our power to keep him, but at the end of the day, Rick felt he needed a change. He's a good friend, good coach. We can't thank him enough for all he did for our organization. Stand-up guy, and we wish him nothing but the best. Rick Tocchet has this release inside of the Canucks release. I'm choosing to move on from the Canucks. Family is a priority, and with my contract lapsing, this becomes the opportune time. Well, I don't know where I'm headed or exactly how this will play out for me over the near term. I feel like this is the right time for me to explore other opportunities in and around hockey. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Canucks organization. It's been any names of people, then it's been a pleasure and great learning experience. Thanks the players, the coaching staff, everyone who helped make the team a success. Wants to thank the fans, thanks the media, and away you go. So, he says, hey, and I don't discount that family's a priority a little bit, But, hey, I'm not sure where I'm headed or where it's going to play out for me, but I feel it's the right time to explore other opportunities in and around hockey. Now, make no mistake, there's 7 other teams looking for a head coach. Seattle, Anaheim, Chicago, Pittsburgh, Philly, the Rangers, and Boston. Now you add the Canucks, that's 8, and who knows what's going to happen with the Islanders. So, Rick Tocchet will be sought after if he wants. And so we'll see. So we'll talk a little Canucks and a little CFL with Farhan Lalji. Now brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home with no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. Stay cool at legacyheating.ca. So Farhan, give me this isn't really a big surprise, is it? The longer this drug out, it seemed more likely that Tocchet was gone.
Yeah, I would agree. I think early on in the process, we all thought that he was going to be back. And, there were a lot of good fits here, in terms of organizational alignment, things of that nature. But you're right. The longer it went, and this was about more than money. It was not simply dollars in term. It was about direction of the franchise. Things like the practice facility, things like, where are you going with Elias Pettersson? Where are you going with Quinn Hughes? And some of those questions you can't just easily answer, right? So with that uncertainty out there and a lot of other options on the table and things like that, ultimately this guy's going to be sought after, even though no one had asked yet for permission to speak to him. I think he knew what the market was going to be. So, yeah, look, it's tough for the Canucks. He's become polarizing in the market only because offensively this team didn't produce. Now, I don't think that's Rick Tocchet's fault. I think he came into the season with different intentions, but then as things didn't work out, he kind of locked it down a little bit. But, to me, that's smart coaching when you react to what your players can or can't do. But there will be fans that will be saying, oh, great, now we can have a coach with a little more offensive upside. But at the end of the day, it's another coach. He lasted 2.5 years on the heels of, a year and a half with Bruce Boudreau, or less than that, really. And then Travis Green before that. They have gone through a lot of coaches. You can't move forward. You guys know, right? In Edmonton, it was tough just cycling through coach after coach. It becomes really difficult to maintain any level of momentum. And it's, so I think it's a loss for the organization without a doubt.
Oh, 100%. Now you mentioned practice facility, Farhan. Nowadays, those are big things that the player teams look at, especially because players talk, they go to other cities and they see it. What do you make of the Canucks ownership? And because to me, I look at the end of the day, that's the one consistent around all the dysfunction is being the owner. And
yeah, well, look, in fairness to Francesco Aquilini, he was also the owner when they went to the Stanley Cup final and had back-to-back President's trophies. But now, you still didn't have a practice facility then. And at the end of the day, I know that Vancouver's a real expensive real estate market, but you got to find a way to get this done. You can't expect someone to give you a plot of land in Vancouver for free, right? You're going to have to spend some money and do it, right? And they spend in other areas, but this is one they're kind of reluctant to. So they've got to get it figured out because they've been waiting. They've been trying to partner with existing facilities and just add to them, but it hasn't worked. So pay the money, buy the land, build the facility, and get this done. Because I think there's only 2 teams right now that don't have one, and the other one is committed to building it. It's already in place, right? It just hasn't opened yet. So the Canucks will be last out of 32 teams for a practice facility.
Yeah, not great. Now let's get to the draft, the global draft. Anything stand out for you today? A lot of Australian punters were taken.
Yeah, I can't say anything stood out to me from the global draft. I spent all my time prepping for this draft. I'm curious to see what the global program is going to become, because it was a real big priority for Andy Ambrosi at the early end of his tenure, thinking he wanted to expand potential revenue bases and thought that thinking global and thinking outside of Canada was a way to do that. And, it didn't really lead to any kind of revenue. So I wonder in the next CBA if we're even going to have a global program, right? I could see a scenario where those players kind of get grandfathered, but, not really the priority to get new ones in the league after this. And I don't think the goal was to ever just make it a bunch of kickers, but that's certainly where the league has fallen back to in terms of the GMs and coaches.
Yeah, some of them took it. The Elks drafted 2 linebackers, both were playing, at Troy and Kansas. So, they're playing, American football, and linebackers, maybe some special teamers. Because to me, if they got rid of the global draft, then they would just be like free agents, no different than anybody else. Right?
Correct. Yeah, they would just, you could put them on an egg list. They could come into the league like an American or a non-import, or a non, an import, right? They could just come in as an American and be treated the same.
Yeah. Now, the draft itself goes tonight. The Elks don't have a first rounder because of they used it on Mathis last year and basically lost their first rounder because of it. But do you have an obvious number one for you?
Well, to be truthful, I'm not sure what Calgary's going to do with the number 1 pick, and I know they're getting some calls potentially on that pick. But there's a number of players. It just depends, and I think Calgary's got a lot of Canadian needs, right? So, could they go with Connor Halley, the linebacker from Wyoming, who's got tremendous speed and could provide instant value? Will he be the next Alex Singleton? We'll see, but it's possible, right? There's a couple of offensive linemen, a kid named Ali Sad from Bowling Green. Could be one of them, right? He could be a guy that could come in and play early. They need help there. They need offensive line depth. There's a guy named Tiger Shanks from UNLV who's a 4-year starter. If you can get a guy like that to come in and immediately plug and play and help you, right? I mean, and then Keelan White's a receiver from North Vancouver, and the Stampeders have invested a lot in Canadian receivers in the last couple of drafts, but it hasn't really panned out because guys have always been hurt. One player retired early. Like, it just hasn't worked the way they expected. So Keelan White's a player with a really high floor and might be the most pro-ready player in the draft. So I think any of those guys would be in the conversation to go number 1 overall.
And, you look at it hey, if you can get a Canadian D lineman who can play, Farhan, and ultimately end up starting for your team, that's huge. What about guys like Newell and Harris when you look at just on the D line and maybe even Parrish Shand?
Yeah, well, the thing with Shand and Harris is both of them have signed as undrafted free agents with the Bills. So they've got bonuses. They're going to be in training camp. So they're not going to be available to you right away. So I think those are reasonable futures bets. I think at some point those guys will be able to make their way back. But I don't know that they get taken, let's say, in the top 5 just because teams are going to want players that are available. Darian Newell, you mentioned the defensive lineman from Queens is really good. And he's got a ton of twitch for a big man, but there's some kind of debate whether he can play inside or outside and where he best fits. So, he's got a little less positional versatility, but he's also a guy that can come in and be part of a rotation on the interior of your defense and help with the ratio and play early in his career, I think, as well.
Some potential O-linemen because, the Elks, they're drafting 10th. And, I don't know, he might be gone. But Eric Anderson out of Western. There is Tiger Shanks, sick name, by the way, out of UNLV. You've got Sam Carson, ULM. Of those 3, is Anderson your favorite, or do you like other guys better?
No, I like Shanks the best out of that group. As I mentioned earlier, I think he's a guy that's had a ton of Division I starting experience and can play right away. Chris Fortin's another player whose stock is going up. I think going into the combine, there was a lot of interest around Eric Anderson, and I don't want to say that's cool. I still think he's going to go in the first 2 rounds. I just don't know that he necessarily goes as the top offensive lineman or in the top 5. And then he suffered a concussion at the combine. He doesn't have a concussion history or anything like that, but he didn't get to show as much as teams were hoping to see at the combine because there were some pretty good D linemen there that he potentially could have gone against. So I would imagine he would be available for the Elks where they're picking, but I wouldn't be surprised if Fortin is also in and around that range, the offensive lineman from Connecticut. Might get taken a little bit higher, but he could be available in that spot as well.
What about, now we saw Curtis Rourke get drafted. So do you think anybody even takes a chance on him now that the 49ers took him?
Oh, sure. Yeah, both he and Alec Aomanor will both get picked in this draft, but they're going to be mid to late round selections. And I do think that league-wide, the feeling is that Curtis Rourke found himself in a really good spot where there's good coaches, where there's stability, where you've got Brock Purdy, who's done some good things, and the Niners are going to have to invest in him, but has also had some injuries in the last couple of years. So, if you can work your way into a backup spot ahead of a guy like Mac Jones, which I think Curtis Rourke could in the next 2 years, then you're just a snap away from playing at that point. So number 1 for Curtis, he's got to get healthy. But in terms of this draft, I would imagine that he gets taken in round 4 or 5. Aomanor might go even later. Like, he got taken in the 4th round in the NFL draft by Tennessee. People thought he would get taken higher in a thin receiver class. He didn't. But I just think he's such a complete player with a complete game that he's going to be in the NFL for a long time. No character questions or anything like that. And, he's only 21 years old. Like, he's got such a ceiling. So, the higher you go in the NFL, the lower you go in the CFL, but both will get drafted.
Farhan Lalji joins us talking CFL draft, which starts in just an hour's time. What about the quarter? And the reason why, I think it's great that we're talking about Canadian quarterbacks because you got 2 starting in the league right now. And I think that's just going to start to open more doors. But what about Elgersma out of Wilfrid Laurier? How do you view him, Farhan? I'll be honest, I've only ever seen him play once, so I don't have any sort of read on him. Do you think this is a guy that could potentially play in the CFL?
Yeah, I think there are some teams that are mixed on him. Like, look, I think he's going to get drafted, and I think people believe he's got the arm talent to play in this league. But, you know, the NFL draft isn't going to impact where teams take him because I think people believe he's going to be available this year. He's got these 2 mini camps. You know, I don't know that there's a lot of people who believe he's going to get signed out of those mini camps. So there's a belief that he will be available. But is he going to be a starter? I don't know. I think some people believe that he's probably, you know, his ceiling might be a backup in this league. Still has some interceptions, doesn't necessarily have much in the way of athleticism or movement skills. Not that Rourke does either, but Rourke's, you know, proven himself at a higher level. So, but I like Elgersman. I think that if he gets an opportunity to compete against players in this league, I think he'll do favorably. And, you know, it's unfortunate that he doesn't bring any movement skills to the table, but he does a lot of other things well, and I think he's got a chance. But all that said, I still think he's going to be a 4th or a 5th round pick, and it won't be because of the NFL. Whereas a guy like Curtis Rourke, had he been available on day one and not in the NFL, he probably goes in the top 10 picks, right? So I don't know that they're necessarily viewed the same.
Give me a surprise player that you think in this draft is going to go later, who's going to be a player.
Skylar Griffith, who is a fullback from University of British Columbia, who suffered a knee injury in the season and probably won't be ready for the start of this season. But, you know, teams are valuing that fullback H type of player a lot more, like the Lions had with David Mackey, right? And there's been less and less of that type of player available. But those guys are so valuable that I think that if the team that gets him, once he's healthy, he's going to have a ton of positional versatility and flexibility, and he'll make a team better in a lot of different areas. Runs 4.7 in the 40, so he can play specials. So he's not a guy any of us are talking about. He's going to be a 5th round selection or maybe later, but I think he's going to have a long CFL career.
Farhan, great stuff, buddy. Enjoy the draft and enjoy the coach search for the Canucks. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, pal.
There you go. That's Farhan Lalji. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Booster Juice. Why don't you mix it up with Booster Juice? They got the 2 new booster mixers right now, the Zesty Berry Booster and the Bango Mango. Download the app today and get one only at Booster Juice. Here's Connor Halley.
Sports 1440 update.
It is game day, game 5. Oilers Kings down in Los Angeles. Puck drop in this one just after 8 o'clock. We've got pregame coverage coming your way at 6 with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson right here on Sports 1440. Elsewhere, Sens and Leafs. The Leafs can wrap this one up, leading 3-1. Carolina Hurricanes looking to do the same as they host the Devils at 7:30 at the Wild, heading to Sin City, taking on the Golden Knights. That series tied to 2 games apiece. Rick Tocchet will not return as the head coach of the Vancouver Canucks. The 61-year-old Tocchet just completed the final season of a 3-year contract. The Canucks did have a club option for next season, but announced last week that they would not choose to exercise it. In the association, playoffs are rolling on. You got 4 games tonight. The Pacers can wrap up their series with the Bucks at 4. At 5:30, the Knicks can do the same against the Pistons. Then at 6:30, the Celtics can do it as well against the Magic. At 8 o'clock, you got Clippers and Nuggets meeting in Denver. That series tied at 2 games apiece. Major League Baseball, Blue Jays host the Red Sox first pitch, set for 5:07. You'll also have the Cubs, Pirates, Orioles host the Yankees, Twins, travel to Cleveland, Mets, Diamondbacks, Brewers, White Sox, Astros up against the Tigers, Angels in Seattle, and the Dodgers hosting the Marlins. WHL, you got Hurricanes hosting the Tigers at 7 o'clock. Medicine Hat leading that series 2-0. And in the PWHL, New York in Toronto taking on the Scepters. Puck drop at 5. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll talk more Edmonton Oilers and head out to Carolina, talk Hurricanes Devils with Cory Lavallet of The Athletic. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Hey, Alberta. The all-new Play Alberta app is here. Casino, sports betting, lottery, all in one app, right on your phone. And because it's Play Alberta, you know it's safe, secure, and reliable. Download it now and play over 500 online casino games, live dealer tables, and unique games you'll love. Plus, bet on sports from anywhere in the province. You in? Download Play Alberta now from your phone's app store and deposit using promo code OIL for a $100 casino bonus on the house. That's promo code OIL for a $100 casino bonus.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. With state-of-the-art motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, call 1-877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Is it Riverside Motorsports? No. It's Riverside Motorsports. Over 55 years in business, and people still get it wrong. Guess it's time to get it right.
Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
It's playoff time, and we've got a lot to talk about. This is Andrew Walker on Edmonton Sports Leader, Sports 1440. Tune in after every playoff game for the Ridge Social Leadery postgame show. The Ridge is the new hotspot in St. Albert, and it's so good.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice. EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365. UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking. Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service. Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project. Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love, better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade, safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan. Water you love.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection? Incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Truck Month is on now at GMC, and it's one of the best times to get behind the wheel. Right now, get a $5,000 cash purchase credit on 2025 Sierra HD models with a 13.4-inch diagonal center touchscreen, and available Duramax 6.6-liter turbo diesel V8 engine with 470 horsepower. Plus, the most trailering assistance technologies in its class. Sierra has some serious hauling power and is the only off-road ready HD. Truck Month is on now. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
It's Canadian Tire's Big Spring Tire Sale. Save up to 30% on quality brands like Michelin, Continental, and Motomaster until May 7th. Conditions apply. Details online.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. The team in Old Strathcona have special training dedicated to reducing the impact of cancer care before, during, and after your diagnosis. From lymphedema to the management of fatigue and side effects of chemotherapy and radiation, they can help. Learn more at leadingedgephysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Oh, little Phil Collins for you on a lovely game day. Happy Tuesday. The Oilers and the LA Kings, a pivotal game 5 tonight. How you feeling, Oiler fans? Nervous, excited? Does anybody have a good feel of what's going to happen tonight? Like, honestly, because I'm looking and say, wow, geez, the Oilers have won 2 in a row. The Kings have looked a little tired. I can convince myself that I think the Oilers are going to win. But then I look and say, God, the Kings pumped them in the first 2 games in LA. Now, I think Edmonton has kind of woken up. They've got their playoff legs. They made it a much easier environment for Calvin Pickard. Now, he made some key saves, but he wasn't facing quality chance after quality chance, odd man rushes. Now, they had some in the early 5 minutes. The Kings just kept missing the net, which is a benefit for the Oilers. So we'll see. PlayAlberta.ca as your home for the Lotto Max $65 million draw tonight. Get your tickets at playalberta.ca. I'm Jason Gregor. He's Connor Halley. Of course, we are live. I'm live at On the Rocks, Jasper Ave, and 118th Street. Your place to watch the game. You want to come in? I'd recommend it. It's also Taco Tuesday. You're going to get some great deals on tacos, as well as they got beer and cocktail specials as well during the game. Tons of TV. So if you want to get here early, I've noticed a few people have done that lately because they want to get here and watch the early games. Of course, you have Ottawa and Toronto starting at 5 o'clock, well, 10 after 5. New Jersey and Carolina around 5:40. Minnesota and Vegas gets going at around 7:45 our time. And then the late game, the Oilers and the Kings puck drop around 8:12, 8:15-ish. Probably closer to 8:20 if I'm being realistic. So I don't have the official one yet, but I'm going to guess probably it's going to be there. Now, people have asked, what about Thursday? So Thursday's game time has yet to be determined because if Toronto wins tonight, then I would think there's a better chance that the Edmonton-LA game starts earlier because the Canadian broadcast partner Sportsnet would not want to wait until 10 Eastern to have a Canadian team on their television. Makes a lot of sense. So, you never know. You might get a 7 o'clock broadcast start time in Edmonton. Dare to dream, Oiler fans. Dare to dream. We know that the 6 o'clock one's coming later on if they get to the third and fourth rounds, but usually the first few rounds are a little bit later starts. Yeah, you're probably accustomed to it now. You're used to it. You don't love it, but you're probably used to it. We'll get to the head coach, Chris Knobloch, coming up a little bit later on. I've got a lot of texts to get to, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Guys, honestly, this is the best I felt all series. Go Oilers from Ray. Guys, Oilers are finally going to come out ready to go tonight and get the much-needed win from a CB radio guy. Boys, what's the chance that the Oilers are ready to go? Honestly, does anyone feel good about their starts? Well, it's a good question. Ricky from Mooseman. I don't know if I can say I would feel confident because I'm only basing it on, and the Oilers weren't, like, if you look at it, there's not a lot, like, a good start doesn't always equate to scoring a goal, right? Or even, like, there's been games where I saw in the regular season, the Oilers, you know what, they're all over them, they're playing well, boom, boom, they don't score, and then they give up one good chance, and it's in the back of your net, and you're just like, why'd you just give up a 3-on-1? So that kind of ruins a good start. So to me, I'm just like, is Edmonton going to come out and put the Kings on their heels a little bit? Kind of like, and we know they're capable of it because we've seen it in the third period. We've seen it in overtime. And even in their first shift of the second period. Remember, Arvidsson, Draisaitl wide open on the side of the net, just couldn't finish. So I think for Edmonton, and we got this question. Hey, Gregor, how much stock do you put into lines, and do you think he'll start McDavid and Draisaitl separate? Well, I don't put much stock into it, Dan. And I think that's okay. It's not because I don't think the line combinations matter, but they kind of don't. Like, look, we've seen the Oilers, Draisaitl and McDavid played a part in game 3. They won for lots of it. Then they got them together for a little bit, and it worked. And then in game 4, but they were together in the first. In game 2, it didn't work. So there's lots of, there's lots of factors each time. I think Edmonton clearly has more depth than Los Angeles. That's pretty obvious. And the coach feels like, you know what? If I got to play Matthias Janmark out against Kopitar's line, he doesn't mind it, right? He's not chasing specific line matches. The Kings really want Doughty and Anderson out against McDavid. And so when you do that, if you play Draisaitl with them, it makes it a little bit easier for them at all. But to me, the biggest matchup isn't so much about which lines are on the ice. I'm more interested, are the LA Kings going to continue to just roll with basically 4 defensemen and 9 forwards? Like Brandt Clark, he has played 11 minutes, so you can't say, and that's like a number 6 defenseman. It's really like they haven't played with a number 5 defenseman, right? Your number 5's usually around 14, 15, 16 minutes, depending on special teams time. But they have played, so here's the numbers, because I wanted to crunch them because I was just kind of curious to see the disparity. And if you look at it, so Like Jordan Spence is unbelievable to me. The guy played 16:47. You know how much? And that's per game. In the series, because he was a healthy scratch one game. In the other 3 games, he's played a grand total of 18 minutes and 25 seconds. The guy used to average 16:47 a game, and now he's played 18:25 spread out over 3 games, and once he was a healthy scratch. Like, it's stunning to me. So between Spence, Mo Brer, and Brant Clark, they've been on the ice in the whole series for 70 minutes and 43 seconds. The Oilers, Klingberg, Emberson, and really, I say Josh Brown because he did dress for 1 game, and that's 1:15:23. But in the other 3 games, those other guys played a lot more minutes, right? Like, so it's crazy to me to think of the difference there. Then you look at the bottom 3 forwards. LA's bottom 3 forwards. Now, you know what? They've rotated guys in. Lewis played a few games, and they've had 2 guys play every game, and then they've rotated around on the other side. Fine. In 1 game, they only had 11 forwards dressed anyway. But they have logged a total, and this is not a misprint, a total of 36 minutes and 55 seconds, their 4th line. The whole playoffs combined. Where the Oilers have played over 100 more minutes. So that you think about it, when you're asking players who aren't used to playing 20-plus minutes a night, and now you've got 6 Kings forwards playing 20 minutes a night, and none of them played more than 19:09 a night in the regular season. That's what I'm watching for to me. Because regardless of who the matchup is, I think it's not like you're like, I can't breathe tired. But you just don't have the same pop and the same pep and the same jump late in games. So we've seen that. And so, because that's like, if the Oilers could get it out, they did have a 2-0 lead in game 3, and we saw it evaporate. So just because they get out to a 2-0 lead doesn't mean anything if they don't want to continue going. But I like what Chris Knobloch said yesterday, how he felt his team was a little bit too passive to start games, and he wants that to improve. So we'll see if he can do it. When we return, we'll continue talking playoffs, of course, the Oilers. Now, there are some elimination games tonight. There's only been 1 team who has truly faced elimination so far this year. That was Ottawa, and they won. They were down 3-0. They lived to fight another day. But tonight, they're back at it. The New Jersey Devils face elimination. Both of those games are on the road. And then you have the pivotal game 5. Minnesota's in Vegas. Edmonton is in LA. We'll discuss it on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, live at On the Rocks, Jasper Ave and 118th Street.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Day or night, tasting just the right. You can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle noodle.
Hold on to your hockey helmet, Edmonton. On the Rocks is serving up 60-cent wings that fly off the plate faster than a slap shot. And Molson Canadians for $5.25. OTR's TVs, hey, they're so clear you'll see the puck better than the ref. That ain't hard, is it? And every game night during Edmonton's playoff run, specials start 30 minutes before puck drop and last for the whole game. Be a part of the legend. See the menu at ontherocksyeg.com.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at hughescarwash.com. The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Here at Cooperators, we can help you invest in a way that's right for you. Like the starting to invest later has to be better than never plan. Talk to us today about how we can turn the investing goals you've made into investing realities.
Looking for a local Cooperators representative? Give Camrose Insurance Financial Solutions a call at 780-672-9251 and see the difference a personalized plan makes. Cooperators, investing in your future together.
All right, give me something big.
The Ford It's a Big Deal event is on.
Bigger.
Get a big truck and an even bigger deal.
Love it. Now the details.
Right now, lease a 2025 F-150 STX with the black appearance package from $220 bi-weekly at 0% APR for 24 months with $43.75 down. That's like $110 weekly.
Now bring it home.
Plus, there's a $750 bonus for eligible Ford owners. Hurry into your Alberta Ford store or visit Ford.ca today.
At Fountain Tire, we're all about one thing, taking care of your vehicle. Oh, and your wallet. I guess that's 2 things. Save up to 20% off select tires until June 14th. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan. For all your residential water needs, your local water treatment company, more than just big bottles, Culligan.com.
Tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$3.26. Oh, man, that is such a good old school tune. I love it. How are you on a lovely Tuesday? Man, it's playoff hockey. Every game you get fired up. This is when I know it's the playoffs because I leave my house, and my wife's not a huge sports fan. But she's like, oh, so what do you think is going to happen in the game tonight? I'm just kind of like, what world am I living in? What is going on right now? Because normally it's like, trust me, that's not a normal question. But I think it helps that, my son's getting a little bit older and he gets fired up. So, he kind of, it's sometimes on the ice, you want people who bring you into the fight. My son brings my wife into his fandom and thinks she quite enjoys it. But she is she's the person who watches the game who, what if it's close in the third period, she doesn't watch, which I can't understand. It's like, you're missing the best part of the game. Oh, it's too nerve-wracking. And that's funny. I was at a dinner party the other day, and there was like half the table was telling me that when the game gets too intense, they get up and they walk away. And I'm like, what? I just don't get that. Cons, have you ever have you been like, oh, geez, this well, no, maybe the Chargers never have that many games, but just pretending the Chargers in a real competitive game. Do you watch it?
Of course. Yeah. I mean, I hate it. I like, sometimes it's not enjoyable, but hey, Chargers Broncos Thursday night last year, stressful. They came back to win. It's tough, but I mean, I will say, Gregor, full confession, I've had that thought. What if I just walked away, came back in 30 minutes, the game's over, and I don't put myself through it? I've never actually done it, but I've thought about it.
It's interesting. So you've never done it. I wonder how many people out there, how many of you just walk away? You're like, it's too much. I can't handle it. We just how are we talking? 10% of people? 5? Is that higher? To me, I'm just like, God, I'd be like, what's happening? I don't know. That just seems odd to me. Let's go around the NHL. Brought to you by McDonald's. And hey, stop in at McDee's. Next Thursday, McHappy Day. All right? You can help out sick kids. It's unbelievable. So next Thursday, remind you to be prepared. And stop in. It's a great excuse to have a Big Mac or McChicken, maybe a double cheeseburger, no onions, or just a shake. Whatever you want. Next Thursday, McHappy Day, McDonald's. Tonight, a team has an opportunity to punch their ticket to the second round. And in doing so, their head coach could become the first coach in NHL history to win a playoff series 7 consecutive seasons in a row with the same team. Cory Lavallet joins us from the North State Journal and also covers the Canes at The Athletic. And Cory, it's, you know what? A, coaches don't last that long in the NHL, and B, just winning one round a year for 7 years, pretty difficult.
Yeah. Has there been a coach any time in recent history that's been as, transformative to a franchise as what Rod Brind'Amour has been? John Cooper certainly has done that in Tampa, but he's done it with a lot of star power. Brind'Amour obviously was a face of the franchise here, and now as a coach, we live in college sports land here a lot, with the triangle basketball teams and football teams, and so much of that is about the coach, and they're kind of the face of the franchise, and it's kind of fitting that at the end of the day, I guess Rod Brind'Amour is the face of the Hurricanes as a coach.
You look at this team, most people expected them to win this series. And, New Jersey's banged up, and the Hurricanes, I just think they have a deeper team. How concerned are they at all about Freddie Anderson? Is this just short term? Cory, what are you hearing?
Well, I mean, they came into the postseason concerned just because they know his history, right? Rod Brind'Amour mentioned several times that, they know what Freddie is, and they know what his capabilities are, but at the same time, they know, he has a propensity for getting banged up and missing games. And I kind of feel like if Freddie had finished out the game the other night and they were up 3-1, they were probably going to go to Pyotr Kochetkov tonight either way, like they did in previous year, just to give Freddie that little bit extra rest. The series really played out perfectly for them in those first 3 games, because you had the 2 games at home, and then you had 2 days off, and then you played game 3 in Jersey. And, that really worked out well for Anderson. So I think the thought is it's day to day, is what Rod Brind'Amour said today. And Rod's a little iffy on his prognostications of how long people are out. But he didn't seem super overly concerned, which I'd say is a positive for them.
Okay, well, that's good. And in a weird way, is this a good thing for the Hurricanes? Because, Cory, Freddie Anderson, he doesn't play enough. You're like, man, could this guy ever actually lead them for 4 consecutive series? Because their goal is the Stanley Cup final. So him getting a break, and you go with Kochetkov, and you know what? I assume Kochetkov could win at least one of the next 3 games. I'd be stunned if he couldn't. That maybe that's just, in a weird way, a blessing here for the Hurricanes, because a rested Freddie Anderson just gives them a better chance the deeper they go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I'd say it's a good thing necessarily, but at the same time, I would say, they believe in both of these guys, and Kochetkov had a really rough run at the end of the season. It did not go well for him. And you could tell even in practice, his confidence was waning. He's a pretty chatty guy, pretty loud out there, likes to whoop it up when they do their little shootout at the end of drills. And if he stops someone, he usually celebrates a lot. And that had kind of gone away. And you could tell that maybe his confidence had drifted away too. And that first goal he gave up the other night, probably didn't help. But to his credit, he really settled back in. I don't know if the Devils, were overwhelming or anything in trying to tie that game, but he did settle in and make the saves he needed to save. And, now he gets to come home where the Hurricanes are so good and get the final matchups, the final changes on the matchups and things. And if they can get out ahead early, I think his confidence will grow. And, Freddie's a great, great goalie. To me, Kochetkov has the higher ceiling. The problem is there have been peaks and valleys. But if they can catch him at the right time and he can get rolling, then, they're in a really, really good situation of having to make what have been a lot of tough lineup decisions. I mean, what team in the NHL right now doesn't have any injuries until, this Freddie Anderson thing cropped up? The only guy they had missing was Jesper Fast, and he's been out the whole season, and his career is probably over in the NHL. But they came into the postseason with everybody, able to play. So, this is a hiccup, but at the same time, they can't even get Alexander Nikishin in the lineup because they're so healthy.
Yeah, well, you look at their lineup, and Rantanen, it was a weird experiment that obviously didn't work, and then they turned it in. They got Stankoven. They ended up getting Taylor Hall in another deal from Chicago. What's your? We know Stankoven had an unbelievable start. How's he played since in this series?
Yeah, he fits the Rod Brindamore mold. He's an energy guy, but he also has skill. He played a lot with Jordan Martinook and Jordan Stahl on that checking line, and he added a little pop to that line that maybe usually isn't there. Although for whatever reason, Jordan Martinook turns into a warlock against the Devils in the playoffs. He's been really good, and he's a good high energy player. Obviously, not the biggest guy in the world. But he plays bigger than he is, and that's important. He doesn't back down. So, I think he's been a really nice addition. Is he Mikko Rantanen? I mean, no, of course not. The big thing, and they got it in Game 4, is can Andrei Svechnikov be an impact player? And yes, hat tricks are wonderful. The thing that really, really jumped out to me is he's been in Jacob Markstrom's head since Game 1. And he's done the job of getting Markstrom rattled, to the point that Markstrom hurt one of his own players in Game 1. And it's gone on throughout the whole series. And Svechnikov hasn't retaliated. They've tried to go after him. They've tried to goad him into the bad penalties he's often taken. And, he's kind of filled that power forward role that you kind of hoped Mikko Rantanen would bring, a big body who can really, wreak havoc in front of the net. And Svechnikov's had a tough year. But so far in this series, he's been one of their best players. It's been so important.
Cory Lavallet joins us. So looking at the series, Cory, the Devils did win the one game. Nemec, quite a pretty good move. I'm sure Anderson might want that goal back, but either way, that's the only win they've had. From a guy, now I haven't watched every minute of the series as you have. Carolina's in the New Jersey games, New Jersey put up a little bit more of a fight, but man, I thought in the first few games, Carolina just looked like in complete control. And if I look at all the stats and everything else, they've played pretty well in this series overall. You're never just going to limit a team to nothing, but they're up 3-1, and it seems like they're full marks to be up 3-1. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think so. Game 2 wasn't anywhere near as good as Game 1. They were dominant in Game 1. They weren't as good in Game 2, but pulled out a win. The Devil, even for all their injuries, the Devils are not an easy matchup. Nico Hischier is just a hell of a player. I love watching him. And then the fact that they can put Timo Meier with him and then put Jesper Bratt, who I think has had a fantastic season and just really is a unique, tough-to-stop player. That's tough to handle. Now, their depth has not been good, and Carolina's has been. The Devils don't have any points out of their bottom 6, and the Hurricanes are getting production from down there. So that's really been the difference. But yeah, I think the Devils' injuries, coming into the series, and then everything that's happened to their defense this series, and full credit to the guys they had to use. Obviously Nemec with the big goal to win Game 3, and then Brett Pesce, who I'm very, very familiar with. Has been arguably the best player in the series. Just absolutely. He and Jacob Slavin, who got called up to the NHL within weeks of each other in their first pro seasons after coming out of college. The two of them have been just unreal. Just a master class in defense. The play Slavin made the other day was just stupid. I don't even know how to describe it.
Well, yeah, Slavin he's a very, everybody saw him at the Four Nations and just how good he is defensively. I'm not a big believer in jinxes. I think both teams are going to win. So give me a quick preview. Carolina, Washington. The Caps are obviously a much better team than New Jersey, no question. Carolina's a much better team than Washington. How do you see that matchup going from a Carolina perspective?
Well, I like how Carolina matches up in that series. I'm not a huge believer in Washington's defense. Obviously, they've gotten a great season out of Jacob Chikrin. Can he handle the rigors of a 7-game series against a team, the amount of minutes he needs to play, a team that just grinds you to death? It's going to be tough for them. John Carlson isn't the same guy he was 5 years ago. So that's a little bit of a concern. And, for all the concerns about Carolina's goaltending, Logan Thompson has been fantastic this year. Charlie Lindgren was fantastic last year. Are we really sure those two guys are big time goalies yet? I don't know if we are. And we're going to find out. The Hurricanes are certainly going to test any team they play with the shot volume they have and the way their power play has been pretty good. So, that'll be interesting to see. Alex Ovechkin, can drag a team into any series. I think it's amazing what he continues to do. And then, Tom Wilson's kind of a unicorn, and he can alter a series, with one play, like he did in the Montreal series. That hit on Carrier, changed that whole, the whole dynamic of that series, and he has the ability to do that. Brady Tkachuk could learn a thing or two, I think, about kind of knowing when to dial it up and dial it back from Tom Wilson, who definitely is an agitator supreme and can back it up, but manages to, it seems in the playoffs, to do all the right things. So I'm curious. I think if that's the matchup, it's going to be a lot of fun. These two teams, don't like each other, got after each other a little bit at the end of the year. And the Hurricanes are not, I don't think this is the same team they've always been. They've gotten bigger and tougher. Will Carrier is an absolute load, just a big guy. I don't think people appreciate how good Jesperi Kotkaniemi can be in that aspect of the game, how physical and how tough he is. And like I said, Svechnikov has been really, really good. And then Jordan Staal is a moose. I mean, for my money, he's the biggest guy in the NHL, just, standing him up next to somebody. As far as just height and thickness and everything, he is an absolute horse. So a lot of intriguing matchups in that, and it would be great. These two teams have a fun history. So we'll see what happens. At the same time, you're talking about your wife and how she starts to get into the playoffs a little. My wife always looks at what series I'm going to see if she can hitch along and stay in my hotel and do touristy things. And she eyed up Montreal with really big eyes. I can tell you that.
Oh God. Yeah. That's the place you want to go. It's an unbelievable city. Awesome, Corey. We'll enjoy it tonight. We'll see if the Canes can punch their ticket for the 7th consecutive year to the second round.
All right. Thanks, Jason.
There you go. That's Cory Lavallet joining us, writes for the Canes of the Athletic in Carolina. Think about that. Now, first of all, how many coaches even last 7 years in a row nowadays in the NHL? Like you look at, you've got in Tampa Bay, of course, he's been there since, well, I guess I'm going to say the 13-14 season, because he got promoted late in 2013, but he's been there for full season since the start of 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 12 years, right? Like that is a long time when you look at it. And how many guys, I'm trying to do the math, like who else has been there longer? Jared Bednar's been there longer than 7 years, Rod Brind'Amour, and that's it, right? Because how about this? So Rod Brind'Amour is the 3rd longest tenured head coach, 534 games. So his first season was 19, and then 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 5. So every year he's made it. Great. He's 3rd longest tenured. Then it drops down. He got hired in May of 2018. He's 3rd longest. The 4th longest tenured coach in the NHL today. Connor Halley, if you had 2 guesses, 4th longest tenured head coach in the NHL, who'd you pick?
I don't even know where I'd go with that one, Gregor.
Marty St. Louis. 4th longest tenured head coach. Chris Knobloch, Oiler fans, to put it in perspective, he's 11th. And he hasn't even had 2 full seasons. Like, it is wild, man. It's wild. He's coached 151 games, and that is 11th longest tenured coach in the NHL. And, there's some rumblings. If Tampa Bay loses, people wonder, hey, did they just say, hey, you know what? Maybe John Cooper wants a new challenge. Did they? I don't know. Cooper, Bednar, Brindamore, Marty St. Louis, Bruce Cassidy, Pete DeBoer, Paul Maurice, Spencer Carberry, Andrew Burnett, Ryan Huska are the only coaches longer tenured than Chris Knobloch. It just seems like he just got hired. It is a job that does not have a lot of long-time security. 3:44, quick break. Well, we'll return. We'll hear from the 11th longest tenured head coach in the National Hockey League, Chris Knobloch. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, coming live at On the Rocks, Jasper Ave, 118th Street.
If you bleed orange and blue and you're not using the all-new Play Alberta Sports and Casino app, then you're missing out. It's the only online sportsbook with odds boosts on all Oilers games. And now, it's not just sports. Play the slots, hit the tables, buy lottery tickets, all in one app, all across Alberta. Download Play Alberta now from your phone's app store and use promo code GOAL for a $100 bonus. That's promo code GOAL!
You know how you look forward to all your favorite sports coming back in the spring? Soccer, baseball, golf. Well, GS Construction looks forward to getting back to work with the warmer weather. We're all excited and geared up for this very busy time of year. The groundbreaking season is upon us, and GS Construction is ready to roll with all sorts of new projects. Projects that help the community and make the place we live in better. For more on what we do, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Now until April 30th, The Brick is saving you more. Save up to 60% off Canadian-made sofas when you buy the matching love cedar chair. Save up to 40% off select mattresses. And when you use your Flexity card, get equal monthly payments and 0% interest for 60 months on furniture and mattress purchases. Plus, you're automatically entered to win a $5,000 Brick shopping spree. And the more you buy, the more you save, up to an additional $1,200 off select major kitchen appliances. Some exclusions apply. See thebrick.com for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Kevin Carius, Low Tide, Jason Gregor. They are all ready for the Cup Run. Sports 1440 is your home for all things hockey, including our pre- and post-game show with Andrew Walker. Sports 1440 is Edmonton's sports leader.
Adventure just doesn't stumble into your life. It roars to life with Riverside Motorsports. Tearing up trails or cruising the open road, Yamaha ATVs, side-by-sides, motorcycles, and dirt bikes deliver the performance you crave. Built for thrills, ready for your next adventure. Yamaha's legendary performance and reliability take you there. Make Mother Nature your playground on a Yamaha from Riverside Motorsports. Located on St. Albert Trail. RideRiverside.com. Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
DJ Booster coming at you live with warmer weather, longer days, and dropping 2 new booster mixes for April from Booster Juice. Pucker up, party people! The Sexy Berry Booster Mixer features raspberry and lemon in perfect harmony. Then turn it all the way up with Mango Booster Mixer with delicious mango and pineapple notes.
Mix it up with the new Booster Mixers at Booster Juice. Canadian-born, blending since 1999. Download the Booster Rewards app and order one today.
At Fountain Tire, we're all about one thing, taking care of your vehicle. Oh, and your wallet. I guess that's 2 things. Save up to 20% off select tires until June 14th. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
It's another big goal for number 1, Titan Supply. They're dominating this series. Looks like a clean sweep.
Spring cleanup is an easy win with Titan Supply. Not only can you trust them to lift, dig, and haul, but with their spring special on industrial brooms, cleaning grime, rocks, and dirt from parking lots, streets, and more is a breeze. Their service inspections help ensure you're safe and ready for the upcoming season. Titan Supply in Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary, and at titansupply.ca. Lift, dig, haul.
Drought Fighter and Disease Control are both included with every Green Drop program at no extra cost. Since 1979, Green Drop has been making beautiful weed-free lawns guaranteed. Book today.
Canada's lawn expert since 1979. Visit greendrop.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Action Electrical. They're the most diversified electrical contractor in Alberta with 4 divisions in project, service, tag, and solar for commercial or residential. Contact them today at actionelectrical.net.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
348. Welcome back. Gregor Halley with you on Sports 1440 live at On the Rocks, Jasper Ave on 118th Street. Your place to watch the game tonight. $2 tacos during the game. Don't are you kidding me? Ooh. You want to try it tonight. And of course, all sorts of beer and cocktail specials as well. We got a lot of texts who were asking about, people, how many people that get that stressed when the game's close and they're just like, I'm out. I can't watch it. Hey guys, I don't walk away, but I get up and just start cleaning anything I can while I can still see the TV. It doesn't matter what. Dishes, kids' toys, anything. I got to clean something when it's tense from John. What are you doing, John? Oh, just washing the dishes over here. Oh, awesome. Hey, guys, my dad always went channel surfing when the game got intense. I made fun of him for years, and last game, I must admit, I watched Netflix during period 2. Getting old. Nerves are soft now from the bird. Hey, guys, true story. Last year, Stanley Cup Final, Game 7. I actually left my house and sat in my truck outside and listened on the radio. I couldn't watch. I can still see my wife looking through the window, shaking her head. So I'm curious, so here, like, I find when you hear it, you're just like, oh my God, because I'm like, oh, scoring chance, but you don't know how close or how bad it was. Because if you're on radio, trust me, you're in Game 7, every scoring chance is going to feel like I bet you it's probably more nerve-wracking, right? You got Michael sending you through the roof at that point. Hey, guys, when we were down 3-0 in the first, I walk away and check back later. Saves the anger. Hey, guys, during intermission, I watch a full episode of Jeopardy to pass the 18 minutes quicker. Otherwise, I just stress myself out. So I don't walk away, but I try to get my mind off it. Oh, there we go. Hey, guys, last time I couldn't watch a game was when my dad told me if the Rangers won Game 4 of the Cup Finals, Kings were up 3-0, we would be going to Game 5 in LA. The game went into overtime. I had to go in the other room and just listen. So, Russ, did you go to Game 5 in LA? I could see that. You're just like, oh, my God, like now you're almost cheering for them to lose just so you go to the game. I get that. Who wouldn't want to go there for a Stanley Cup Final? It's a pretty good deal with your dad. Hey, guys, true story. I shut off every game if we are losing early. I'm weak from Wade. So, wait, are you telling me you've only watched one game of this series? Because the Oilers have been down, down in the first 7. I guess what do you define as early? Like the first 10 minutes? So. Hey, boys, last game, I walked away in the third, but I found out it was overtime, so I didn't miss anything. Yeah, you did. You missed that. Like, I was in the building, and I can tell you, like, fans are nervous. They're on edge. When Bouchard scored, it's crazy. And they saw pictures from the moss pit. Imagine everybody's house. You were sitting at home, and I know this for a fact. 100%. Many of you yelled when Bouchard scored with 29 seconds left. Guaranteed. If you're at home alone, you jumped up off the couch. You probably had a high five or fifth pump if somebody's with you. Maybe you woke up your dog who was sleeping on the couch because you screamed. Like, I'm saying minimum 75% of fans jumped up and yelled at that point. Because that's the whole, you live to be a fan. You've gutted it out. You're watching the whole game. You're on the edge of your seat. Oh, my God. Especially because the Oilers, they made it 3-2. There's 6 minutes left. And now you're like, hey, we got a chance. We got a chance. And, the Kings, what is that? Their 4th shot that they missed from their own net on an empty net? Like, if I'm LA, if I'm Jim Hiller, I'm spending practice just working on guys shooting from the puck inside their own zone to the empty net. Like, they're over. You got to hit. Like, they're NHL players, man. It's a wide open net. Got to hit it at some point, don't you? Come on. Hey, Greg's, any word on Stetcher? Oh, he's healthy. He's ready to return. But the way John Klingberg's played, they're not taking him out. Ty Emberson, the only reason Ty Emberson saw his minutes at 10 last game was, because he was right on pace to play close to 12-13, which is normally what he plays, right? If you look in the regular season, I think he averaged, 13-30? That's kind of what he is. He's a defensive defenseman who's on their penalty kill. So in games that there's not a lot of penalty kill time, he'll stay in the rotation. But once the Oilers got down 3-1 and he doesn't bring a ton of offense, his minutes just, they started shutting off. And they kept with just 5 defensemen in the third. And then Knobloch said, so think about it. So Emerson, at the end of the second period, now you got 18 minutes of intermission. Then you play the whole period, which was stop time, 35 to 40 minutes, give or take. So now he's an hour, plus another 18-minute intermission. So now the guy actually hasn't played in over an hour and 20 minutes of real time. And I'm sure he got on the bike or did something in intermission just in case, but the coach doesn't want to put him in that moment. But he'll play today, and I could see Stetcher, if the Oilers move to the next round, because the LA Kings aren't a very aggressive penalty killing, a forechecking team. They don't forecheck very much. That's perfect for Klingberg. I think if this is more of a forechecking series, then it might change and be different. And I wouldn't be surprised then if you see Troy Stetcher. Or maybe even, because I do know this, they've thought about going 11-7 earlier in the series. Thought about it. They didn't do it. Just was like, you toss it around, debate it. But ultimately, they didn't do it. Hey, guys, I understand your wife's anxiety. My girlfriend goes to bed if things are too intense. Last game, I had to take 2 aspirin and have the phone right beside my chair when I watch in case I start to have a heart attack. Oh, people get fired up, man. But that's why you love it. You think about what's great about sports is it evokes emotion. Obviously, there's euphoria and jubilation and excitement, but then there's also disappointment and anger and rage and a lot. It is a wide range. How many of you, Bouchard, you suck. Bouchard, I love you. Right? In the same game. Probably multiple times. Just that is. Hey, guys, it's so true about yelling. I was trying to be quiet so my kids and wife wouldn't wake up, but it was unreal from Cheap Shot Charlie. Hey, guys, my wife was asleep, and I yelled when she jumped off the couch and screamed. Oh, I love it. Hey, guys, as I've gotten older, and despite being a kid in the 80s and nervously watch them at a point where I just can't watch it all and follow along, I'm fine going to playoff games, but I can't watch it on TV. Far too much for me. Really got worse than the 06 run went on. DM. Wow. So you can go live in the building, but on TV, it's too much. Interesting. I wonder why that is. Curious. But hey, I get it, man. There's lots of reasons why you get fired up. And everybody's going to be different. Sometimes you're just it's too much. I get too fired up. I've always said that's the one thing I miss about my job, because John Shore taught me, hey, if you want to do your job, he felt, and I've done it ever since, that, you don't get emotionally involved. So I will say I miss that part of it. That's why I love coaching minor sports. Now, trust me, I'm not a lunatic. I'm not going crazy over wins or losses, but it's nice to see excitement. Now it's obviously, got a lot of buddies who are Oilers fans, my son, my wife. So when you see them happy, it's good. But, my wife kind of jokes because, when people say, oh, Gregor's a fan, she's like, have you ever watched a game with him? Trust me, he's not a fan. Because she'll sit there and, something great or bad happens. And I'm just kind of like, oh, yeah, well, hey, man, it's a really good play. Good job. But I don't have the and I miss that. I'll be honest. And so, that's why you cheer for some teams in other leagues that I don't cover, but it's not the same, right? Once the Dolphins owner passes away, then I'd probably cheer for him again. Until then, kind of just stuck in the middle. My son's a Chiefs fan, so I kind of root for them, but I don't have nearly the emotional. Trust me. I still remember it vividly. Throwing my remote, I know it's trust me, I'm not above being a lunatic fan. Now, it's the worst lunatic thing I did was through the remote control to TV when the Dolphins drafted a kick returner, 9th overall. Idiots. So, yeah, I can understand why people get so fired up. When we return, we got Struddy will join us. Also, Dave McCarthy, Spec, DVD. We got a busy final few hours and your chance to win Here Comes the Sun. We'll tell you after Struddy. So stay tuned after Connor Halley Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. Whether you have a daily commute, maybe you're on the road trip, going to the job site, hey, you need more than just tires. You want to make sure your vehicle is working. And that's what they do at Fountain Tire. Expert technicians handle everything from alignments to brakes, shocks, and full mechanical services. Book your ride today at fountaintire.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game day, Oilers-Kings Game 5 down in Los Angeles gets going just after 8 o'clock. Our pregame coverage with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson starts at 6 right here on Sports 1440. Elsewhere, you got the Sens and Leafs meeting at 5. Toronto can wrap that one up, leading 3-1. The Hurricanes can do the same against the Devils when they meet at 5:30. Then at 7:30, Game 5, Golden Knights Wild. That series tied at 2 games apiece. Rick Tocchet will not return as head coach of the Vancouver Canucks. The 61-year-old Tocchet just completed the final season of his 3-year contract. The Canucks did have a club option for next season, but announced last week they would not be using it. On the hard court, you got 4 games tonight. The Pacers can wrap up their series with the Bucks at 4. Then at 5:30, the Knicks can do the same to the Pistons. And then at 6:30, the Celtics can do the same to the Magic. All those teams leading 3-1. At 8 o'clock tonight, Clippers taking on the Nuggets. That series tied 2 games apiece. In the majors, you got the Blue Jays in action, hosting the Red Sox. First pitch set for 5:07. Elsewhere, Cubbies and Pirates. Nationals in Philadelphia. Rays host the Royals. Brewers taking on the White Sox. Rockies up against the Braves. Angels in Seattle. Padres take on the Giants. And the Marlins in Los Angeles. In the WHL, Hurricanes hosting the Tigers at 7. Medicine Hat leads that series 2-0. And in the PWHL, New York takes on Toronto just after 5. CFL Global Draft earlier today. The Edmonton Elks selected linebacker Richard Jubinor out of Troy University, 3rd overall, and the linebacker Alex Wright from Switzerland out of the University of Kansas at 12 overall. Australian punter Fraser Mason was the 1st overall pick taken by the Calgary Stampeders. The CFL draft gets going momentarily. The Elks will make 7 selections, none in the first round. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by former NHLer Jason Strudwick, also Dave McCarthy from Sirius XM, and we'll ask 5 questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Are you looking for safe and professional travel options? Look no further than Silent Rides, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer state-of-the-art motor coaches, first-class service, and affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information, call 1-877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions take 1 for Gene Principe. Hey, thanks for being on time.
I'm always punctual. Now, how about some cool beats while I drop the heat?
Ready when you are.
Tall legacy, tall legacy.
Nice.
Boom! I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for AC season.
What's not to love with no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year?
Are you always like this?
Yep. Unlike Legacy, I never know when to cool it.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Playoff time on Edmonton Sports Leader, Sports 1440. This is Andrew Walker, and join us for the Cross Mitsubishi pregame show before each Edmonton playoff game. Cross Mitsubishi on 34th Ave and 96th Street.
A pizza from Papa John's is already pretty great, but you know what's even better? 2 pizzas from Papa John's. For a limited time, get a medium 1-topping pizza for only $6 when you order any large specialty pizza at regular price. The works, the meats. Pick your favorite specialty pizza and get even more delicious Papa John's to enjoy. Whether you're feeding your family, your team, or yourself, get your next meal from your locally owned and operated Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Explore beyond the boundaries of capability and value during Truck Month at GMC. Right now, get 0% financing for up to 72 months on the 2025 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Pro Graphite. With a TurboMax engine delivering 310 horsepower, GMC Pro safety features, including automatic emergency braking, plus a max towing of up to 9,500 pounds.
So
You'll
calls
be ready
for it.
for
I love
anything
game
this
day
Truck Month.
and the LA
Ask your GMC dealer for details.
5
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. It's Terrific Tuesday. Get 40% off any regular priced order when you use the code word 40Tuesday at the start of each order at papajohns.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back as we continue on. Just about 4 hours and change away from game 5. I almost said 4. Game 5 of the Oilers and the Los Angeles Kings. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get on the action. Use the promo code Gregor100 and get a free $100 play at PlayAlberta.ca. Live at the On the Rocks Jasper Ave and 118th Street. Let's get to Struds On, brought to you by Action Electrical. And coming up after Struds On will be your chance to qualify to win a $15,000 turnkey solar system for your home, courtesy of Action Electrical. Unbelievable prize. So that's coming up right after Struds On.
The Jason Gregor Show presents Struds On.
I don't believe in tea bags. I use loose leaf tea, and it is so much better than the tea bags. I'll eat tea bags. I'll
Struds On.
I'm not a huge DJ guy. I mean, I guess if you hand me a couple glow sticks and a tight white t-shirt that I can get wet, maybe I'd be into it.
Struds On.
There's a lone steakhouse I used to go to down in Kentucky, and they had bowls of peanuts. I wasn't sucking on those ones. I mean, you need to have clean nut. I'm talking about the kind you get in a bag at an Elks game. You know what I mean?
It's time for Struds On.
Struddy, good afternoon. How you doing?
Oh, fired up. Game 5, best of 3. Let's do this tonight.
Yeah. Now, before we get to that, Struddy, I have so I hear you played on Sunday with your team having a 4-2 lead, and late in the game, Jason Evan Strudwick leaves his guy wide open in front of the net. Scouts tell me. What happened?
No, you're not wrong. Well, it was a protest, right? 2 times I got the puck out. They pulled their goalie. It was a 2-on-1, and both times we didn't pass the puck up. So I said, well, if they're not going to score, I'm not going to bother trying back in the back end. So message sent, like Urban Selects, you know who you are, the guilty parties. And just message send, right? That's how I send messages. Now they know. Now they know.
Now they know. So basically you admit that you just sabotaged your own team just to send a message that next year, if you play with them, don't miss an empty netter.
How do you learn? How do they learn? They didn't miss the netter. They didn't even shoot it. Oh. I'm not sure what was going on. I'm not sure if he was the lefty, took a right-hand stick, or righty taking a left-hand stick. Just pass it up 2 times. So someone has to let him know that it's not acceptable, right? It was my time to shine.
Hey, now, Struddy, I remember talking to you before about, hey, you know what, man, I remember, hey, coach, I want to play more minutes. And all of a sudden I'm playing 22, 23 minutes. You're like, oh my God, I'm dying. Right. You get, and that's, there's regular season minutes, but then there's playoff minutes. And the LA Kings, like Joel Edmondson played 36 minutes last game. Now I know it's overtime, but still, you know what, their 4 defensemen have played a significant amount more than the Oilers' top 4 guys, because they're really like, Brant Clark's playing like 11 minutes. He's kind of like a number 6, but they're basically not playing with a number 5, right? And they're all leading up those extra minutes, 3-4 minutes more than any of them are used to. Now, Doughty in his heyday used to play this many minutes, but do you think that's a reason why the third period has been a struggle, or is it more just the team play of the Kings and the team play of the Oilers in the third and overtime?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both. When you look at it, so let's just look at the D-men for the LA in the third and fourth periods. Let's just talk like that. How many times did those guys have to turn and go back and get the puck because the Oilers dumped it in? Right? They're either under pressure waiting on the blue line, or the Oilers dumped it in and had to go back and get it. Joel Edmondson isn't Kel McCarr. These other Gavrikhov's a pretty good skater, but that's hard minutes. You're going back to get it under pressure to make plays time and time and time again. So, they did a pretty good job, I thought, there. But what do you think that looks like in Game 6, potentially Game 7? Do they still have the energy to do that after the Oilers have been a very physical group and they're really getting after them? I have a hard time believing they'll be able to do it. So the fact that they're playing 4 D-men to me is a really difficult one. They have, other players that can play at least 10 or 12 minutes, maybe creeping up to 15 because they've done it in the regular season. I understand you want to play your best. If that was Game 7, Greg, I'm all for it. Supportive. Let's play for them. See, we got it. But you get down to that. I think in Game 4, let's say it duplicates that the next 3 games. What do you think they have left for Game 7? That's a real challenge.
So, and it's interesting, like you're looking at the Kings forwards, because it's not just their defenders, Struds. In the regular season, Adrian Kempe led them with 19 minutes and 9 seconds per game. That was the most. They got 7 guys over that, 6 over 20 minutes right now in the playoffs. And McDavid and Draisaitl, they're not playing more than they do in the regular season very much. Now, obviously, the overtime game, so it jumped up a little bit. But those guys have been used to playing big minutes their whole career. And you've got, Kopitar, older guy, Deneau, older guy. And then you throw in the physical play, like the Kings aren't a physical forechecking team. Like the Oilers have got way more hits on the Kings defense, and you throw in their forwards. It just do you believe in attrition? Do you believe that you can actually physically and maybe even mentally wear down a team as the series goes along?
I think you can. And I think the Oilers have. I mean, you to sit back like they are. And I don't think it's by choice. I mean, I've never seen a coach says, let's just back off all the time in the third period and overtime. I think they just didn't have the legs to get up there and to do it. And even, for the D-men to be able to skate, transition the puck up to the forwards, they just didn't have it anymore. They're just content to sit back. When you do that, it feels like the ice is tilted. And then the second part is you never feel like you're putting pressure on the Oilers. So there was a few breaks, where they had, and maybe they got a chance off a rush. But how many sustained pressure times? How many sustained pressure that we had during that time? Hardly any, right? The hardly had defended their own end at all. So what I'm looking for is the Kings. They have to adjust their way of thinking. They've got to stretch up their lineup and then play harder as they go through to make it hard on the Oilers and make them feel stressed that they're not feeling in that third and fourth period.
What do you make of? The Oilers' decision, if you're Knobloch, do you like them better with McDavid and Draisaitl apart together in this series specifically? Does it matter? Are we going to, I assume we're going to see both at some point tonight. Do you think, because I don't really trust what the lines are in the morning skate, do you think he starts McDavid and Draisaitl apart or starts them together?
I think you're going to start together. I like them apart. I really do. But I think that the emergence of, Kane coming in playing and Frederick, it looks like he's getting more legs underneath him and starting to move a little bit better. And then the trust he shows in Janmark and Henrique and all these types of guys. I think you keep them together and you put pressure because those guys, when they're together, they're really hard. And the way Perry's playing, that allows you to move Hyman to another line. So it beefs up a second line. Now you got, like the other night, who was it? Kane, Hyman, and Nuge. And that's a pretty good line. That line needs to be able to contribute and score. Then you got Frederick and Henrique and Brown, and then we know who the other guys are. So I think there's an opportunity for them to really kind of put pressure on that top line because that line is so good against them. And if you're only going to play 4D or maybe 5, might not hurt them in the first period, Greg, but I do think that they'll get worn down. I know there's a bit of take advantage of that matchup.
I think Calvin Pickard, this is probably his series to finish at this point, I would think, unless something crazy happens tonight. But do you think he just carries the ball the rest of the way, or do they eventually give Skinner another start if they get to the second?
The higher Skinner has a higher ceiling. So I think eventually you're going to see Skinner get back in, but not this series.
Yeah,
Pickard's playing fine. He's doing well, but they're going to need Skinner. I know there's a lot of people out there that aren't fans of Skinner, and I get it. He hasn't been consistent like a number one goalie should be. But if you want to win a Stanley Cup, and let's assume they get by the Kings here, he is the guy. So I think you start the next series with him. Again, there's a lot of things that have to happen between now and then, but that would be my plan if I was the head coach.
The Corey Perry factor, Struddy. A lot. It's kind of like, geez, I'm not sure Corey Perry in the playoffs, but man, Corey Perry just continues to produce for the Oilers, and I think that Knobloch puts him in a position to succeed. When you play with Draisaitl and McDavid, like his speed almost becomes a non-factor because the other two are good skaters. You don't worry about it nearly as much, right? And just kind of the gamesmanship. Leon Draisaitl's description of him the other day, and by like he's just so smart and he understands. Like, he's got all sorts of respect for him. Like he knows how to play. If I'm a fourth line guy, I play this way. If I'm playing with McDavid and Draisaitl, well, now I'm trying to make more plays. Like it, when you played against Perry, was he always this much of a, like a cerebral player?
I don't remember him being quite that much. It was he and Getzlaf, right? And what they were, they were really heavy on pucks. Obviously they were skilled making plays, but they loved holding the puck, and that's a real challenge. And so when you see Corey, he's still below the goal line. He wants to hold on to the puck, right? He wants the puck on his stick, and he uses his body, manipulates. He's greasy, and finds a way to contribute. And I think that playing with Connor and Leon's about being a smart player. They don't need more speed. You don't need more speed on that line. They need someone who understands what they're trying to do, and that's what he was. He was an elite player. So he may not be able to get there as fast, but once he is there, then he knows what his play is, and he's been doing it really well in this series. And you can see they were spelling him off, right? Hyman go up there sometimes, Kane would go up there sometimes. He doesn't have to play 20 minutes, but he can be effective in minutes he plays, which is really important. So and again, it plugs up a bit of a hole there and pushes someone else down the lineup to bolster another line.
Jason Strudwick joins us, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. About 4 hours away from puck drop, Game 5, the Oilers and the Kings. Oilers running with the same lineup. Kings, it looks like Jordan Spence could be coming back in. Whether he plays or not, we'll see. Struds, when you look at how this series has gone, like Kane comes in and makes an immediate impact. Trent Frederick's starting to come around. I think his last 2 games have been way better than the first 2 games in this series. Connor Brown, even Janmark. Where do you come out on Hyman and Nuge? Now, Hyman's been ultra physical, which is great, but like from those two offensively, like I know Nuge scored the 1 goal in Game 3, but they need more. What do you need to see offensively from those two?
Well, I give Hyman a ton of credit because he's not scoring, but man, is he being physical. What do you have, 12 hits?
Yeah.
That's crazy in the last game. So he's like, okay, I'm not putting the puck in the back of the net, but I'm going to make this team suffer. And I really respect that. Nuge, it's a calling card I've talked about, over the course of the year. He's got to get his feet moving more. And he is at center. He's got to be skating more and get to the middle of the ice. So after a forecheck, and someone gets the puck, dart to the middle of the ice, get there quick so you can get a pass, or you can get the puck and make a pass to someone. I just feel like he has the opportunity to do it. And we've seen him do it. That big spurt, I don't know, what was it, maybe 70 games in the season. He had a ton of points in that time. He was moving his feet and skating. I think he's got another gear to get to speed-wise out there to help out not just his line mates, but himself to get some scoring opportunities.
Yeah, no, that's valid.
And Klingberg, Greg. You didn't mention Klingberg. Let's talk about Klingberg. I mean, I'd written him off. I had him nowhere. Let's just think for a second. It's Oilers at Ekholm, and then Emerson is out. That'd be a 6 veteran, big, pretty good deep group of set of D-men. So Klingberg, I think he's changed the series as well, moving the puck well. His defending, you can tell when he's getting pressure off the rush. It's just he's not feeling it, but he's doing enough to keep the guys in front of him and not allow them to get away too much from him.
Well, the thing about Klingberg is LA is the perfect fit for him because they don't forecheck, right? Like,
right. Good point. Good point.
That was my question. Like, if you're Jim Hiller, like the Kings haven't forechecked for 4 years against the Oilers. Struds.
Yeah.
It hasn't worked ever, right? And here they are. They were up 2-0. Now they were close. They're probably going to tell themselves, we were 29 seconds away from being up 3-1, right? But guess what? They're not. And I just look at the Kings, and I don't know, maybe I know it's hard to just switch, but I have to admit I'm surprised. Everyone's like, oh, the Kings will change. They really haven't changed. They have a different neutral zone a little bit, but now we see it again. They're sitting back, and they've kind of reverted back to the LA Kings. And unless they can get a good start tonight, I don't sense it. I don't think LA has the ability to just grind you down and keep it going. Because the Oilers, where they struggle is when you force the Oilers to play below the dots in their own zone. Yeah. That's where they struggle. And LA is rarely there. Like if Edmonton could stop being Santa Claus, I think they could win the series easily.
Yeah, you're right. And listen, I think we all go back to what's comfortable, right? We're starting I'm not having candy for a month, and then, by day 5, you have candy again. Because that's what we're used to, right? So I think that for the Kings, they fall back to what they're comfortable with. The players can complain about it, but on Game 4, just back off. Not even try to forecheck. The Oilers are at the top of the circles, just passing it back and forth. They weren't even trying. They're falling back to what they're comfortable on. And the Oilers okay, they bring guys back and hit them with speed, sometimes get the zone with possession, sometimes strip it behind. But those D-men still had to turn back and get that puck, the Kings D-men. And they're probably just complaining all the time. They're like, what the hell? Why do we have to go back and get this all the time? So they've got to be more aggressive. I suspect today at home, they'll be way more on that puck. The problem is you got to still do it in Edmonton when you get back. So that is a chance for them to push and put pressure on the Oilers, but we haven't seen it in the big moments in games enough.
Struds, I'm telling you, when I watch that in hockey, it's where I think the NHL, the NBA changed their, defending rules. I would love it that they'd come up with a rule. You can't just have 5 guys standing. Someone's got a forecheck at all times. I just think it's terrible for the game. I know somebody say, but I said, hey, we've learned and evolved. The game originally didn't allow forward passes, right? Like we've seen lots of things change. Like, I don't know about you, but like when I watch, I'm like, how would you ever want to coach that way? What type of player would be like, oh, this is fun to play? Like, I just think it's a terrible way to play the game.
It's not fun. I hate it playing like that. It's not fun at all. So the rule's simple. Forwards can't skate backwards, right? You can't skate backwards. Boom, you do it. Either off the other team or maybe enough times in a game it's a penalty. Just call it. Make them skate forward through the neutral zone, and that'll change it.
Oh, buddy, I'd be all over it because I think it's awful for the game. Absolutely awful. I don't think it adds. It sucks out excitement. Like your team's losing, your team's winning. Like, why does anybody want to watch that? And I would love if they strongly considered it. Struddy, enjoy the game tonight. We will chat with you tomorrow.
Can't wait. Talk to you guys later.
There you go. There's Jason Strudwick walking in a ditch somewhere, evidently today, on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Now's your chance. That was Struds On, brought to you by Action Electrical. And here comes the sun. How about a $15,000 turnkey solar system for your home? You can win it. Now, here's some things. You got to be a homeowner. You need to reside, or if you gift it to someone, they need to be a homeowner and reside within a 50-kilometer radius of Edmonton. Okay, and you want your shingles ideally 12 years or newer, simply because if you put it on and they're older than that, then when you have to get it changed, it's going to cost you even more money. So there you go. Today, be ready to text 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. We're going to keep it a little bit easier. We're going to get it harder as we go along. But today, because it's a playoff day, it's very simple. Can you tell me which NHL player who happens to be an Edmonton Oiler, you can just use his last name and your name, leads the NHL playoffs in goals by defenseman? 833-401-1440. He has 4 goals. He's a defenseman who happens to play for the Oilers. 833-401-1440. Your name and his name, and we'll make the draw.
Hey, Alberta, the all-new Play Alberta app is here. Casino, sports betting, lottery, all in one app, right on your phone. And because it's Play Alberta, you know it's safe, secure, and reliable. Download it now and play over 500 online casino games, live dealer tables, and unique games you'll love. Plus, bet on sports from anywhere in the province. You in? Download Play Alberta now from your phone's app store and deposit using promo code OIL for a $100 casino bonus on the house. That's promo code OIL for a $100 casino bonus.
A pizza from Papa John's is already pretty great, but you know what's even better? 2 pizzas from Papa John's. For a limited time, get a medium one-topping pizza for only $6 when you order any large specialty pizza at regular price. The works, the meats. Pick your favorite specialty pizza and get even more delicious Papa John's to enjoy. Whether you're feeding your family, your team, or yourself, get your next meal from your locally owned and operated Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Find the perfect tractor for any job at Edmonton Kubota. Their massive selection of compact tractors has something for everyone, whether you're tackling small tasks or big projects. And right now, take advantage of 0% financing for up to 72 months. It's never been easier to get the power and reliability you need. Come down to Edmonton Kubota today and drive away with a tractor that's just right for you. Edmonton Kubota, where your perfect tractor awaits.
Dang. Last season, you bought new clubs to fix your game. You spent the entire season trying to learn how to hit with your magic clubs. And guess what? Dang. They didn't help your game. Now you're convinced it's your swing, but it really is your clubs. Even though you were told the ones you bought were the best ever made, if they were, you would have gotten better. Every day at Fitted Golf, we continue to prove the right clubs make all the difference in the world. From beginners to pros, Fitted Golf makes all the difference. Yes, fittedgolf.ca.
I'm tired of waking up tired. Waking up tired. Yeah, waking up tired.
Are you tired of waking up tired? Come visit our sleep experts at the Brick Mattress Store. Get Canada's guaranteed lowest prices on all things sleep. Plus, try your new mattress for 6 months. If you don't love it, we'll find one you do. Some conditions apply. Stop waking up tired. Get the right mattress, guaranteed. Only at the Brick Mattress Store.
Drought Fighter and Disease Control are both included with every Green Drop program at no extra cost. Since 1979, Green Drop has been making beautiful weed-free lawns guaranteed. Book today.
Canada's lawn expert since 1979. Visit greendrop.com.
It's the spring Big Red Sale at Canadian Tire. Save up to 50%.
What are you doing?
These are the biggest deals of the season. I'm shouting it from the rooftop.
You have a radio ad. You don't need to be up there.
The Spring Big Red Sale is on from April 24th to May 1st. Conditions apply. Details online.
A pizza from Papa John's is already pretty great, but you know what's even better? 2 pizzas from Papa John's. For a limited time, get a medium one-topping pizza for only $6 when you order any large specialty pizza at regular price. The works, the meats. Pick your favorite specialty pizza and get even more delicious Papa John's to enjoy. Whether you're feeding your family, your team, or yourself, get your next meal from your locally owned and operated Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
At Vision Credit Union, we've been around a long time. In fact, we've been serving rural Alberta communities for 75 years. We launched in 1950 with $128, 21 members, and a mission to help our communities. It's still our mission today. That's why we return 75% of Vision's profits to members, offer full-service banking in underserved rural communities, and prioritize contributing to charitable causes in our hometowns. We're here for good. VisionCU.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Joppa Machinery. Did you know that Joppa offers in-house and on-site heavy equipment service? Rain or shine, Joppa's service department is here for you. Visit joppamachinery.com for all the details.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.430. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440. Hey, you know what I like? You guys are paying attention. It was indeed Evan Bouchard, who, of course, currently leading all NHL defensemen with 4 goals. This postseason has 7 points. Only Cam Fowler with 8 has more. Bouchard, though, 7 points. He's playing a ton of minutes and still doing more good than bad. Despite your level of frustration, I get it. you know what? You'd like to see him tone down a few of the big mistakes. That obviously would be nice for certain. Well, he's gotten better because game one he had 2 major, and I think he's only had like 1 real big one since. So that's progress, is it not? Right? Because he scored 4 goals since, so I would say still more good than bad. Today, our qualifier to win a $15,000 turnkey solar system for your home is Dana. Dana, congratulations. He knew it was Bouchard. Dana, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good, man.
Now, Dana, when you watch the games and it gets stressed, do you turn the TV off and leave the room, or do you watch?
No, I'm watching.
Okay. Well, it should be. Yeah. Now, are you a pacer? You just sit down? Like, are you a remote thrower, or are you pretty calm?
I'm pretty calm usually, but when they get the goal, then I'm off the couch. So it's nice to see them get those goals late.
Oh yes, no, that's true. That's very true. Well, Dana, you can keep this for yourself, or you have the opportunity to gift it. You don't have to decide right now, but you will in the email, and then you could be winning a $15,000 turnkey solar system courtesy of Action Electrical.
Cool, that's awesome.
Okay, man, we'll stay on the line. Connor will get all your information.
All right, thanks a lot.
There you go. Next chance to win the 4 o'clock hour tomorrow. It's a hell of a package. Hell of a package. Now, let's get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment, their new rink. Oh, baby, it's almost finished. Going to be ready for next season for the Spruce Grove Saints. They're going to have the big grand opening next week, so that'll be big excitement, courtesy of Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment and the Spruce Grove Saints, as we welcome in from NHL Network Series Satellite Radio, the host of the brunch on Sundays, Dave A. McCarthy. Dave, how you doing?
I'm good. You're sounding good too today. That drink you told me about last week, that works wonders.
It does, buddy. The cayenne pepper, man, with salt and warm water. It's seriously like it's a game changer.
Maybe like three doses.
Yeah,
good as new again, and you sound like your old self too. So we love it.
Yeah. Well, mine was just from a late night out, Dave, on Saturday night. Oh yeah. So that was all good, but it was still nice. So Ottawa was the first team to face elimination, staved it off once, and which, some people think it was just delaying the inevitable and how the series, Toronto, they outshot them in that game. They've been the better team for long stretches. Was there anything in game 4 that you feel Ottawa can look and say, wow, we were a lot better at, and let's continue it tonight?
Well, it was the first game where they decisively won the special teams battle in this series. They were 4 for 4 on the penalty kill. They had a power play goal. Linus Ullmark had his best game of the series without question. So those would be the 2 things that I'd point to if I'm Ottawa heading into this game. Now, that said, I don't think they want to have to rely on their penalty kill to go 4 for 4. They don't want to be in the box that often. If you give the Leafs too many more advantages on the power play, they're going to burn you, because their power play by and large has been quite good this series. They even had a good chance in the overtime on the double minor. Austin Matthews hits the post, right? If that goes a couple of inches to the other direction, goes off the post and in, as opposed to off the post and out. So that's what I point to, though. Ottawa played their best game of the series in game 4. The special teams looked good, and Linus Ullmark was strong. And I think if they're going to continue to fight their way back into this series, those 2 things absolutely have to happen. But chief among them, Linus Ullmark needs to steal a game. The first 3 games in this series, it's difficult to make the argument other than to say he was just not good enough for what they need out of him in order to be successful as a team.
How's Brady Tkachuk played?
He's played okay. I have to be honest, he has not made the impact on this series that I thought he would coming in. Which is to say, isn't that anything particularly stupid, because I thought that was a risk as well. If his pent up excitement of playing in the playoffs would get the better of him at times, and take his style of play, where we can all agree he's at his best when he's like kind of toeing the line, taking over that line. He hasn't done that, but he also hasn't dominated on the positive side of the ledger the way he's also capable of. So I thought at times that it's really weird to say, and I'm quite surprised, through 4 games, he's kind of blended into the series more so than I expected.
Yeah, and you know what? From watching now, Grant, I haven't watched man, there's so many good series on. I've been swipping back and forth. I haven't got to watch it steady enough. And when I have watched, I'm like, you know, at 4 Nations, he was an impact and he was a force all the time. And I just wonder, maybe he's not 100% healthy, but playoffs are different. You're not playing with all the best guys, in your country. So maybe that plays a factor into it a little bit. Oliver,
let me just jump in real quick there. I'll tell you where I think the turning point in this series came was early in game 1. Early in the second period, Leafs up 2-1. Brady Tkachuk gets a breakaway. Anthony Solars comes up with a stop. Not long after that, Leafs make it 3-1. They go on to win that game convincingly, and then the 2 in overtime. The next 2 games fall their way. If that shot goes in and Tkachuk makes it 2-2, I'm not convinced the game necessarily goes the same way. Ottawa's got as good a chance to win at that point as Toronto does. And then if Leafs lose game 1, and then there's a lot of talk about playoff demons from years past. So I thought that was a real turning point. If he shoots that in the net, maybe things progress a little differently than they have. But there's another guy I'd be looking to for a big night tonight. If I'm Ottawa, you need a Brady Tkachuk night if you're the Senators.
Dave McCarthy from Sirius XM joins us. Dave, opening night of the playoffs. The big dogs in Toronto were very good. Now Marner has 7 points. He had 3 in the first game, and so he's had 4 in the 3 games since, which is fine. But Matthews has 1 goal. John Tavares probably being the best guy when it comes to goal scoring. How would you elevate the play of the big 4? Have they been noticeably more impactful than previous years?
They've been good. And what I would say to that is they're playing within the system that's serving Toronto well. They're outscoring Ottawa quite considerably at even strength. Ottawa has the fewest amount of even strength goals in the playoffs. Toronto is the second most. So those guys have been productive within the system, but have they dominated to the extent that you'd like to see them dominate? The way we've seen Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl do just about every night in Edmonton? The answer to that question is no. And I looked this up because this is another opportunity where the Leafs have a chance to eliminate an opponent with a win. In their last 13 games with such an opportunity before them, they are 1-12 dating back to the 2018 playoffs. 1-12. In those 13 games, Matthews, Marner, and Nylander have combined for 6 goals. That's not going to be good enough, right? So, look, they've been productive, but they have yet to tilt the ice in the favor of the Leafs for an extended period of time, the way that we've seen McDavid and Draisaitl do at regularity. This way we've seen Nikita Kucherov do at regularity. In these playoffs and in playoffs in recent memory. So I would still say that the onus is on them to come out and have a moment. Like, it's about time for Austin Matthews to have a moment in the playoffs. The type of play where you will look back on for decades to come and say, remember where you were when Doug Gilmour went one side to the other and back again and jammed it in on Curtis Joseph, or, Sergei Beres into Steve Thomas in the playoffs in 2002, or Matt Sundin, the howitzer from the blue line against the Senators in the Battle of Ontario. Like, one of those type of moments. Matthews needs one of those in his career to justify the position that he has not been given, but has been held to in this organization. He needs to have one of those games. They've been good. They have not been bad at all. Let me be clear in that. But when you have a chance to dispatch an opponent, your top guys need to oftentimes be the ones that deliver the mail to put your team over the edge.
Dave McCarthy from SiriusXM joins us. David, the Dallas Stars no Miro Heiskanen, no Jason Robertson. All of a sudden, you know what? They get a goal 11 seconds into the game or 9 seconds into the game last night. Wyatt Johnson, who wasn't producing a lot, Mikko Rantanen, Matt Duchene, they all get on the board, and Dallas has a big win over Colorado, who's pretty healthy. And they're not beating a Dallas team without 2 of their top 5 guys. Like, I look at this and say, big win for Dallas, but oh my goodness, if they lose this series, what a brutal loss for Colorado.
Yeah, I thought Colorado wasn't necessarily going to handle Dallas easily, but comfortably. I thought they were going to be able to. You take a team's number 1 defenseman and the type of guy who Dallas relies on as much as Miro Heiskanen, like he's that good. Take him out of the lineup. You take Jason Robertson, like legitimate top 6 forward out, and go up against a Colorado team that is, as you point out, rather healthy and has been playing quite well coming into the playoffs. I didn't expect this at all. I've been really impressed with what I've seen out of Dallas. I think, you know, what happened last night is, quite frankly, Mackenzie Blackwood didn't play very good. You know, the 1 9 seconds in, terrible tone setter. I don't care. Any shot that comes from beneath the goal line just cannot go in the net. Period. End of discussion. It went in. That's a bad goal. The Thomas Harley goal, where there's really no screen in front, he blockers it, goes up into the air, he loses sight of it, comes down, rolls down his back, and goes in. Again, like that's one of those momentum crushers on the bench. So, you know, I thought he played poorly, quite honestly, when his team needed him most. You don't want to hang it all on him, but the goaltending let Colorado down last night, and Jake Ottinger just simply outdueled him. Through 40 minutes, the slot shots were 12-5 in favor of Colorado. So it's not like Colorado was playing poorly at all. They were generating. Jake Ottinger was just coming up with stops, and it seemed like, at least early on in the game, a Dallas shot at Colorado's net went in, and in a fashion that takes a wind out of your sails. So, you know, we'll see what happens now. He's going to have to be better. He was better. He was good early in the series. Wasn't good last night. He's going to need to find a way to come up with two real quality games to see if Colorado can come back in the series. But I'm surprised that Dallas is up. I did not see that coming into the playoffs, but that's why they play the games at this time of the year.
Oh, it's true. It's that'll be a huge win for the Dallas Stars, because then they could get Miro Heiskanen back for the next round, which would be a huge boost for them. What do you make of the Jets and Hellebuck? I joked yesterday that the title of any article in Winnipeg should have been "What the Hellebuck is going on?" because they are getting they got pounded in St. Louis, man. For chances, like your goaltenders, you can't just say, "Oh, the guys in front of him got to be better." You can't applaud the goalies all the time. When you're an elite goalie, like everyone's like, people want to say this guy's a Hart Trophy winner. And I was the one who regarded and said, no, he had one of the easiest environments for a goalie all year, and he's fine. Plus, he doesn't play a quarter of the season, so it can't be a Hart for me to win it. But you get into the playoffs, if you're a Hart Trophy candidate, you got to play better. I don't care what's happening. Get around the screens, do something. You can't have the save percentage and the goal against average that he has for an elite goalie. If you're an average goalie, okay, but an elite goalie, unacceptable.
I'm totally with you, and I had to make it abundantly clear on Ice Cap last night when I announced the Vezina Trophy finalists of Hellebuck, Vasilevsky, and Darcy Kemper, that the award is only awarded based on regular season play, because all 3 guys are in a real tenuous position right now, and Hellebuck the most among all 3 of them. And this is the 3rd season in a row now where he has gone from, you know, Cinderella in the regular season with the glass slipper on and taking it off when the clock strikes midnight. He turns into a guy that not even closely resembles the guy that we got used to in the regular season. And I'm with you. I never bought the Hart Trophy conversation surrounding Connor Halley this year. I just thought there were too many other options who were more impactful to their team than Halley was. Not to denigrate how well he played. He was very good. I think he should win the Vezina. Hart, no. And now here we are, 3rd playoffs in a row where the guys just coming up lame when it matters most. And look, like, part of being a goalie and having success at this time of the year is finding ways to come up in the clutch when all the chips are down. And I'm sorry, there's a different level of pressure on you in April and May and June than there is on a Tuesday night in November and December and January. And so he's got to find a way to push through that, because it's not that he's just being not spectacular. He's not been nearly good enough for this Jets team. And I think St. Louis has got all the momentum heading into Game 5. And you look across the ice, the guy who's tending goal for the Blues never seems to come up lame when it matters most. Jordan Binnington has a clutch gene. We saw it at the Four Nations. We've seen it in the Stanley Cup playoffs when he led St. Louis to a Stanley Cup. Like that first period that he had in the Game 7 against Boston, the year that they won, was stuff of legend. This guy elevates his play when it matters most. And Connor Halley has, at least in recent times, been unable to show the ability to do that.
Dave McCarthy from Sirius XM, and I think that's totally valid. One last one for you, Davey. Kings and the Oilers. A lot different series looking now than when it was last time. And like the LA Kings, they've got their playoff drag and they can't beat them. They're getting killed in the third period. They are starting well, but they're also playing 4 defensemen and 9 forwards. Like a lot of decisions in LA can be questionable. None more than that worst review I've ever seen as far as a challenge goes. Like that was terrible. But what do you make of the Kings? Like I feel like there's way more pressure on them to win tonight. There's still more pressure on them to win the series because I just think they have a higher, at the start of the year, a lot of people thought the Oilers were a Stanley Cup legit contender. No one was really saying that about the Kings. But tonight I feel like there's way more pressure on LA.
Yeah, I agree. And I was really concerned with how Edmonton played, even through the first 3 games, maybe first 3.5 games of this series. Point number one, I don't care how entertaining it might be. They've got to stop forcing themselves to have to come from high in the third period. You're only going to get away with that so often. But in the third period and then into overtime, to me, Edmonton started to look like a different team. Like they looked like they found a little bit of traction. They got organized. They were by far and away the better team in the overtime period. What do they have? Like 18, 20 shots? Darcy Kemper was really good in the overtime. But it looked like, at least for a period of time there in the third and OT, that LA thought to themselves, holy cow, here we go. We let this slip away. Because the last thing you wanted to do is let Edmonton wake up if you're LA. And it looks like they're starting to now. So huge pressure on them because I do think to an extent, like Boston is to Toronto, Edmonton is to LA. Like they're in their head. They have been the team that LA has been unable to finish off. And once you let them wake up, I don't care what anyone says. These are human beings at the end of the day. To say that that's not sinking into the minds of the guys who are there, and a lot of them have been there for these series, I think you're not telling the truth. So a lot of pressure on LA, and it'll be interesting to me to see if Edmonton can start better today, so they won't have to rely on a comeback. But heading into this Game 5, if you force me to bet, I wouldn't have said this earlier. I think Edmonton wins this, not just game but series.
Davey, always good to catch up with you, buddy. Enjoy the game tonight, and we'll talk to you on the brunch on Sunday, my man.
Right on. Thanks, buddy.
There you go. That's Dave McCarthy from Sirius XM. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you, Sports 1440, live at On the Rocks, Jasper Ave, 118th. Calm before the storm. It's Taco Tuesday and all sorts of specials to watch the game. Come down. Of course, you want to watch some of the earlier games, but the Oilers and the Kings just after 8 o'clock puck drop tonight. OTR, all sorts of beverage specials, tons of TVs, man. There's no bad seat in the house. Now, there are a few tables. If you want to call to make a reservation, I recommend you do it right away. Call OTR. We'll return to the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions, take one for Gene Principe. Hey, thanks for being on time.
I'm always punctual. Now, how about some cool beats while I drop the heat?
Ready when you are.
Tall legacy, tall legacy.
Nice.
Boom! I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for AC season.
What's not to love with no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year?
Are you always like this?
Yep. Unlike Legacy, I never know when to cool it.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
My utility bills are going through the roof. How can I take advantage of the sun and put my lazy roof to work?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Energy team reporting. When you're ready to make your home or business more efficient, Action Electrical has the power to install solar panel systems and EV chargers.
Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta with supercharged skills and strong family values. actionelectrical.net.
Truck Month is on now at GMC, and it's one of the best times to get behind the wheel. Right now, get a $5,000 cash purchase credit on 2025 Sierra HD models with a 13.4-inch diagonal center touchscreen, an available Duramax 6.6-liter turbo diesel V8 engine with 470 horsepower, plus the most trailering assistance technologies in its class. Sierra has some serious hauling power and is the only off-road ready HD. Truck Month is on now. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Center's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Explore Internet just got 10 times faster. 5G Ultra brings incredible speeds to homes in rural and small town Canada. Upgrade today at xplore.ca.
It's the spring Big Red Sale at Canadian Tire. Save up to 50%.
What are you doing?
These are the biggest deals of the season. I'm shouting it from the rooftop.
You have a radio ad. You don't need to be up there.
The Spring Big Red Sale is on from April 24th to May 1st. Conditions apply. Details online.
Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now. The Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now. The Funk Soul.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Garage Superstores by Premier Built Garages, your one-stop shop for everything garage, from accessories and storage solutions to cabinets, vehicle hoists, storage racks, and Traeger grills. We've got everything you need to maximize your space. Visit our 8,000 square foot showroom at Calgary Trail and 34th Ave or online at garagesuperstore.ca.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Ooh, we continue on, getting closer by the day. Of course, the CFL draft also ongoing right now, and the Calgary Stampeders took Damian Alford, the receiver, number 1. The Ticats went with the linebacker Devin Veresuk from Windsor, number 2. The Red Blacks took Keelan White from the University of Montana, and then a D lineman, Ali Saad from Bowling Green went 4th, and Tiger Shanks, that was the old lineman I think the Elks were really hoping would drop, but he went 5th to UNLV. So still lots of other old linemen out there, some decent D linemen as well. So we'll see the Elks about 5 picks away from their first pick. Obviously, they did not have a first round pick, as they lost that when they took Mathis last year. Now let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick, as up until the end of the month, unbelievable savings, 25% off bedroom and dining furniture, $1,150 off of sectionals, or $1,000 off of big screen TVs right now at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, question number 1. Game day prediction for tonight's game, and you're over at playalberta.ca. Let's say, who would be your pick for an anytime goal scorer?
Well, all that does is score goals. So yeah, if you're giving me one player that I had to go with anytime, I am taking Leon Draisaitl.
And score prediction?
Yeah, I've sucked at this. I think I've only got 2 right out of 4. I'll say the Oilers win on the road. The first road team to win the series tonight.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm not going to go against you. I'm going to take the Oilers to win. I'll say they don't give up those bad mistakes, and they win a closer one, lower scoring, 3-1, and anytime goal scorer. I'm going to say Zach Hyman gets rewarded. Coming off a game where he had the 12 hits. Yeah, I think he's going to cash in offensively. So maybe a little bit of a bigger payday. Question number 2 for you. Kings obviously so good at home. What is the biggest key to victory for the Oilers tonight?
For me, it's all about the start tonight for the Oilers. You've got an LA team that, even though they got to be a little bit fragile. You've won 2 in a row. You really kind of broke their hearts in game 4, dominated them in overtime. If you're able to come out and have a really good start, attack. The head coach even said it. We've been too passive early in games. So to me, it's all about, we know the Oilers can finish. Can they start?
I'm with you. And just look, don't give the Kings that energy boost. Like, don't take a bad penalty earlier on in the game to set you back. It has to be a quick start. Can't fall behind, despite the Oilers' ability to claw back into this one. They're just making it tougher on themselves. Question number 3 for you. You got the Sens and Devils facing elimination tonight, down 3-1 in the NHL. Then in the association, Magic, Pistons, and Bucks all down as well. If any, which ones do you think will force a Game 6?
Oh man! Well, the Bucks, Damian Lillard, ouch. The Magic. I don't know if any of them do, but I would probably give the Pistons the best chance, just because I think it's probably the closest series. But I think they're all done tonight, Cons. Sadly, I think it'll be a good night, Irene, to all 3 of them.
I'm with you, and I think it's the same in the NHL. I think we're going to see a lot of garbage bag day in the next couple of days across the association and the NHL with all of these games. I want to believe, but I think the association ones, I think those are a little easier. Question number 4 for you, and our CFL draft going on right now. Where do you think Curtis Rourke gets drafted, knowing he was selected by the 49ers, and hey, he's probably not leaving that gig?
I'm going to say he gets drafted, and I think it's the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Which round?
2nd.
Okay. I'm going to say he slides, but not too far. Like, obviously, I think there's a good chance he ends up in the CFL after a couple of years in the NFL. I'll say he falls to the 3rd round.
And who's taking him?
Let's go Saskatchewan.
Ooh.
I don't know why, but let's go Saskatchewan. Final question for you today. Jerry Seinfeld turns 71 years old. This almost might be impossible for you to do, but favorite Seinfeld episode, and if you had to rank the main characters 1 through 4, what would the order be?
Oh my God. What? Well, favorite Seinfeld episode, that's hard enough, but oh man, I have so many. But honestly, the reason why it's my favorite, because I still remember the first time I watched it, and it was first time live, and it was Master My Domain. And it was just a topic, and no one ever really talked about it. I was just kind of like, that can't, and it was so funny. Kramer, I'm out. Like, as you got older, man, it became even funnier the time you watched that. Even Elaine, the ladies would laugh about it. George Line, classic George. So I guess I'll go there, man. If I had to rank the characters, like that's hard because, well, I guess I'll go, if I have to. I don't want to, but if I have to, it's like asking what's your favorite kid. But I will go Kramer, George, Elaine, Jerry.
Okay. I'm a big fan of the library episode.
Bookman, like unbelievable name.
Like,
yes.
His just confrontations with Jerry are so good. And if I had to rank them, George first, I'm going Jerry 2, probably Kramer 3, and Elaine 4.
Really?
Yeah.
See, if this would be one of the greatest debates that you could have with people to rank them, because I can't say, hey, if you like George, super funny, I get it, right? Like, there's lots of times, some episodes, George is easily the best.
Mm-hmm.
And other episodes, Elaine was the best. I'll tell you, Jerry's best acting might have been when he impersonated with Kramer in the Kenny Roasters chicken episode, right? So he's Kramer. He's living. He's got all the lights and everything. Oh my God, that was one of his favorites. And the thing I laughed about Jerry was he just was so ruthless a little bit at times. Oh, that's a shame. And just his dry wit, oh God, man, I haven't watched a Seinfeld episode in a while. I might have to just pull it back out again, because I that's the one show I can tell you I can watch it at any point and I'm gonna laugh. There's still so many episodes that aged incredibly well, because you got to think about it, man. We're coming up on 30 years since it started. Obviously not since it ended, but coming up close on 30 years since it's ended, and it's still, I can watch an episode and literally laugh out loud numerous times.
It's on Netflix too, which is great.
Seinfeld is?
Yeah.
How the hell did I not
I'd
know
say
that?
we probably watch an episode a night. Just once Benny falls asleep, throw it on. It's
Oh my goodness.
little comfort television.
That is glorious.
Yeah.
How can you not do that? I totally get it. That's fantastic. God, what a loser. How do I not know that? What, living in a van down by the river? Gosh, brutal. So, well, now I know what I'll be binging here very soon. Actually, you know what I was watching again was Schitt's Creek.
Good too.
The show makes me laugh. Oh, some good hug. Because nowadays, man, you need some laughs. There's so much seriousness and everything else, and so yeah, I need some good humor every now and then. We'll return. Speaking of somebody who'll make us laugh, Mark Spector will join us after a Sports 1440 update. It is the Gregor Show, coming live and on the rocks. Jasper Ave 118th, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Let's get to a young Connor Halley and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. Truck month is on now. GMC, stop in and get a $5,000 cash purchase credit on a 2025 Sierra HD model. Learn more at gmccanada.ca.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go. This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game day, Oilers down in LA taking on the Kings. Game 5 of their first round series. Puck drop just after 8 o'clock. Our pregame coverage with Donovan Paulson, Andrew Walker, Landon Ferraro, and Gene Principe gets going at 6 right here on Sports 1440. Getting going shortly. Leafs have a chance to wrap up their series with the Sens. Then later on, the Canes will try to do the same against the Devils. Both teams leading 3-1 at 7:30 Wild in Vegas, taking on the Golden Knights. That series tied at 2 games apiece in the association. Right now, Bucks on top of the Pacers, 46-39. Indiana leads that series 3-1 at 5:30. Got the Knicks with a chance to wrap up their series with the Pistons. Then at 6:30, the Celtics can do the same to the Magic. Both those teams up 3-1 in those series. And at 8 o'clock tonight, Nuggets and Clippers meeting in Denver. That series tied at 2 games apiece. Major League Baseball, Blue Jays in action. They'll host the Red Sox in about 5 minutes' time. 1 game postponed due to weather. Cincinnati and St. Louis, that'll be made up on Wednesday. Couple games going on right now. Yankees beating up on the Orioles 5-0 in the second, and the Phillies have a 2-0 lead over the Nationals. In the WHL, tonight, 7 o'clock, Hurricanes hosting the Tigers. Medicine Hat leads that series 2-0. And in the PWHL, New York is in Toronto taking on the Scepters. That one's going to get going shortly. CFL draft underway. Damien Alford, wide receiver out of Utah, going first overall to the Calgary Stampeders. Devin Versuk out of Windsor to the Ticats. And Keelan White out of Montana to the Red Blacks, rounding out the top 3. And earlier today, it was the CFL Global Draft. The Edmonton Elks selecting linebacker Richard Juvenor from Troy University with the 3rd overall pick, and a linebacker Alex Reich from Switzerland and the University of Kansas at 12. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and Derek Van Diest from NHL.com. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Spring style and road-ready performance are more affordable than ever. Now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Lease or finance a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save up to $5,000. Lease a 2025 XC60 plug-in hybrid from 4.9% and save $3,000. Lease or finance a 2025 XC40 from 0.49% and save $2,000. Get ready for the open road at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better services, only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
Been waiting for this since preseason. It's playoff time, and Sports 1440 is your home for all things hockey. Kevin, Lowtide, Jason, and the pre- and post-game shows with Andrew. So many reasons why we're Edmonton's sports leader.
In 1973, deep in the basement of an Edmonton family home, an elite team of specialized forces came together to form.
Good, how you doing?
Oh, fired up.
Struddy, good afternoon. Struddy, good afternoon.
Service team reporting.
As we continue on,
supercharged with skills in their electrical fields and grounded by strong family values. Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Thursday, May 8th is McHappy Day,
Get back, Jason
when
Gregor.
every menu item purchased
Connor
at
Halley.
McDonald's helps support families with sick children. So you can feel the good that comes from doing good, just from ordering.
So if I order a Big Mac,
Play
I'm
Alberta.
helping.
Yup.
What about a McFlurry? 10-piece chicken McNuggets and apple pie?
You got it. every single
Like
order.
heating and cooling.
Join us at McDonald's for McHappy Day on Thursday, May 8th. Do good, feel good. A portion of food and beverage sales will support RMHC chapters.
By the day, of course, the CFL draft.
Now,
Of course, the
until April 30th,
CFL
Brick is
draft
saving you more.
also
Save up to
ongoing
60% off Canadian made
right
sofas when you
now.
buy the matching Love Cedar chair. Save up to 40% off select mattresses. And when you use your Flexity card, get equal monthly payments and 0% interest for 60 months on furniture and mattress purchases. Plus, you're automatically entered to win a $5,000 Brick shopping spree. And the more you buy, the more you save. Up to an additional $1,200 off select major kitchen appliances. Some exclusions apply. See thebrick.com for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Whether you're a weekend camper or you want to spend the summer on a great golf course, Silver Creek Golf and RV Resort has something for everyone. Over 200 service sites, enough room for large groups, and their new online reservation system for campers. See what Silver Creek RV Resort has in store for you. Call 780-855-3982 and book your reservation online today at silvercreekgolfcourse.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.507, welcome back. Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. It is the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, coming to you live today at On the Rocks, Jasper Ave, and 118th Street. So stop in, your place to watch the game tonight. The Oilers with a chance to go up 3-2. The Kings, obviously the same situation. Oilers, though, win. They come home. Opportunity to dispatch of the Kings for the fourth year in a row. The Kings, meanwhile, are trying to slay their playoff dragon. A team that, think about it, last Thursday, even last Friday, heck, as recent as Sunday heading into the third period, many of you were like, it's over, they're done. Things change quickly in the NHL playoffs. But I will say, Oiler fans, you haven't endured more crazy endings than most teams ever in the NHL. Fun little fact, and then we'll get to spec. So the NHL has had over 4,935 playoff games. It's actually 4,934, my bad. Of those 4,934, there has been 125 of those games that had either a team tie the game in the final 30 seconds or win it in the final minute. Okay, 125. The Edmonton Oilers, so that's 125 out of 4,930. Pretty small percentage, right? How about the Oilers? 5 of their last 41 games have been exactly that. 5 of 41. Vancouver, JT Miller. Vancouver, Evan Bouchard. Both won it. Final minute. Earlier this series, Philip Deneau. Obviously, Evan Bouchard tying it. Anze Kopitar. So the Oilers are only 2-3 in those games. But 5 of them in their last 41 when you had 125 combined. So really, there's 120 in the other 4,929 games. Right? Which is, if I'm doing, that's like 2%. Not even. Less than 2%. And the Oiler games are like 12% lately. It's mind-blowing. You just don't see it very often. So if you get a little stress at the games, you can understand why. Because you're seeing stuff that most fans never see in their lifetime. Never mind 5 times in a span of 3 years. So who knows what's going to happen tonight. It's entertaining. At the bare minimum, you can never say the Oiler playoff games aren't entertaining. They might be disappointing. They might be frustrating. But they're rarely lacking in entertainment. They should put that at PlayAlberta.ca. What are the odds that somebody could win the game in the last minute? Probably still get good odds on it, but I wouldn't be opposed to it. Might have to talk to the fellas at playalberta.ca. Put that up there for fun. Now let's get to the spec report brought to you by GS Construction, your number one underground infrastructure specialists. All they're focusing on tonight is you get home safe, so they get home safe. Go through construction zone slowly so everybody can get home and watch the game from GS Construction. As Mark Spector will be watching the game live in Los Angeles tonight. Pivotal Game 5 matchup, Spec. And when I look at this game and all the situation in 3 years and everything else and blowing leads, man, I feel like there's way more pressure on the Kings to win tonight.
Well, first of all, I want to say, I don't know if you got a monitor, but see this gray hair? That's because of that stat you just laid down. Right, because I wrote most of those games you're talking about that turned on a dime on West Coast time zones on deadline. So, yeah, I get it, buddy.
But it's crazy when you think about it, man. Like, there's already 2 in this series alone, for goodness sakes.
I know.
Anyway,
it's fun. It's fun, man. And it's I just enjoyed that game the other night, Game 4, so much for, on my own, just watching it as a guy and sort of on behalf of a building like that those fans in Edmonton that go to such lengths and dress up and buy costumes and put on makeup. And I mean, they are so dedicated to get a game like that and then have their team win it in overtime. I just thought, wow, what a reward for what a night that was. And the way it ended, man, who didn't get to sleep like before about 2:30 in the morning after that game?
Oh, well, there was lots of people who suddenly were a little bit later at work on Monday than they were expecting to be originally.
Oh, man, like it was unreal. So anyway, tons of fun, good series, 2 good teams. What's going to happen tonight? If you're the one guy in this conversation who does, pal.
No, dude, I honestly, like, you were like, hey, what do you expect tonight? And I'm like, honestly, like, usually I might have, doesn't mean I'm always right, but I kind of have a feel, I think this will, tonight I'm just like, honestly, like there's a small part of me that's like, I think Edmonton, the one thing they've shown is when they smell blood lately, they can take advantage of it. It takes them a while, Spec. It's like there's this like, well, let's get cut a few times and we got to smell our own blood before we smell the blood of the others. And they've definitely done that. And like that, the third period in the overtime and how they won the last game. And to me, the Kings, Spec, they're not going to change. They don't forecheck, right? They've never forechecked and it hasn't worked, which is mind blowing to me why they wouldn't change. But now they're not forechecking and they're deciding to play even fewer players. Like it is, there's lots of oddities going on in some of the decisions coming out of that team right now for me.
Yeah. And Jim Hiller said this morning, he hopes to do the same thing tonight. So you're going to see the same thing. And he said, when it goes to overtime or double overtime, it turns out that maybe it's not a great idea. But his feeling is, when did Bouchard score? 29 seconds left or something?
Yeah.
He says, we're 29 seconds away from winning that game. And no one's even asking me about how much I use those guys. So, I get what he's saying. He's going to coach the way he's going to coach. There's a certain risk to coaching. And he's willing to say, I'm going to play less guys. We're going to win in 60 minutes. And it's not going to be a problem. So, hey, he's the coach. Let's see how it works. I feel like, Jay, when we get to this point in the series, this is where teams start to figure something out. Like, I don't think we're just going to get more of the same. LA getting an early lead and Edmonton storming back. I feel like one of those things is going to change. I wish I knew which one. I feel like the Kings are going to figure out how to continue their game, and not give up 3 in the third period, or maybe more likely here, the Oilers have always been that team. They get stronger later in series. Like, look at Florida, look at Vancouver, right? Look at, they
were 2-1 down to Dallas.
Right. They get stronger. And if that's, that they're telling each other that, they're reminding each other of that. And that's what I certainly, and you and all our listeners and viewers have seen. So I feel like this is the point in the series where we start to see that. And is it going to happen tonight? Nobody knows. But when you talk about sometimes you get a feel for a game, that's what I expect to see tonight. I expect to see Edmonton's best game of the 5 tonight.
What about now, I'm not putting much stock in the lines right now, Spec, because from each game it changes. But what do you think is McDavid and Draisaitl? They're on separate lines in the morning. Are they going to start together tonight, do you think? Are we going to see the majority together to start, or is he going to keep them separate and then play it kind of as the game goes?
Yeah, I guess if they go out and start getting the lead with the way it is, you don't mix them up. He's a real line mixer, Knobloch. He's starting to remind me and early. Like he goes, let's say the Kings get the Oilers take a penalty 3 minutes in and kill it. Boom. McDavid and Draisaitl are together for that shift they always have after every penalty kill. And if they have a great shift, he'll send them back over the boards again. So he goes off like we're all scurrying around at a morning skate trying to figure out his lines. And I think it's a bit of a waste of time, frankly. I think he gets early first period. He's already moving his lines around. So, my answer to your question, when does he go to McDavid and Draisaitl? I'm sure he will.
Like if you had to bet tonight, do you think he sticks with them? Or does he go to them on separate or on together earlier in the game?
I think he goes back together with them. Yep. I think he starts with them apart and it doesn't last very long.
Okay. Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us. The Jordan Spence, is he going to play tonight for the LA Kings? And when I say that, not just dress, is he going to play more than 3 minutes?
I don't know. He's going to play tonight and he's probably going to play. It looks the way it lines up like he might play next to Gavrikov. So I think if you're playing next to Gavrikov, you're getting more minutes. That's
what it's lined up though every game, and then they go away from it.
Then they go away from it.
Goes away from his.
You're right. So here's another coach that starts out one way and changes quickly. So I do know this. They asked Hiller. I wasn't at the LA practice, but I heard the audio.
So we should clarify the reason you're not there is because they're at two different rinks.
Yeah, they're out in El Segundo past the airport. I'm downtown, so you can't cover both. And he said, the question was, you have the same usage? And his answer was, I hope so. So he hopes so.
Yeah. Which is someone that, hey, I guess he's going to go down fighting, go with what got you there, I guess is his strategy, and we'll see if it works. The Edmonton Oilers spec, obviously, they've been more physical in LA. Significantly, Zach Hyman, maybe not scoring as much, but he's doing other things. You look at the Oilers and, the Kane-Frederic tandem, who obviously wasn't there all season for Edmonton. How much different do you think that makes this group?
Big time. Yeah. I thought Vander Kane was a factor in the game the other night. I've been dead wrong on him. I thought it would take him longer to be a factor. And if it went away, guys who get hurt, they often come back and give you an early game and then they kind of go away. But this is playoffs. And there's an intensity out there. Maybe he can sustain this thing. I hope for his sake he can, for the Oilers' sake. And I thought Trent Frederic looks like he's playing a game where he's not thinking his way around the ice. He's starting to kind of just play. I talked to Frederic this morning quite a bit, just having a chat. And he said the same thing. He said, I really feel like I'm just back to just playing the way I've always played. I'm not. I'm like a new team, new system, really important game. Don't want to be the guy that gives up the goal. It's hard to join a team the way he's joining it. He never played for the Oilers, basically. And here we are in totally crucial playoff games. So it's not easy, man. So he feels like he's getting comfortable too. So yes, those two guys make you better for sure. And I just, if I'm the Oilers, I hope I play long enough so I get both those guys right up to speed. And now let's see how good we are. And I saw your nugget on Ekholm the other day. I don't know when that happens, but imagine this team, if they played long enough to get him back, all of a sudden they're getting better, not worse, as the playoffs go on.
Yeah, and I think to be realistic, conference finals is best case scenario. I just want to clarify that. It wasn't like he was going to come back next round. It didn't sound like, at least. Now it's playoffs. You never know. I trust the person I talked to. He's never really BS me before on something like that, right? Because, a few weeks ago, they thought the odds of him playing at all were low. But, he's responding really well. But, does that mean he's ready to play? We'll see. But I'll say this. The longer they go, then at least increases the odds because they're still playing. And he's still working hard to try to come back and play. And could you imagine in a hypothetical if all of a sudden they make it to the Cup final and they roll out Matthias Ekholm in the Cup final after not playing him all the time? It would just help your guys because he'd be fresh, whatever the injury was. The rest of his body will be pain free, right? and that could be an advantage for sure. Yeah. The Kings, their bottom line isn't playing very much, but their top lines, we haven't seen a real hard match by any stretch of the imagination. But Kempe in LA crushed the Oilers. There's no doubt about that. Yeah. And he hit 2 goal posts at Edmonton. Like, he's still being their most dangerous player. If you had your choice, which line, which D pair would you want out against Kempe?
Who probably, well, not the Bouchard Nurse pairing, I don't think. They've shown, like, where Kempe's, to me, what keeps making Kempe dangerous is the space he's finding. He's not just getting chances. He's getting chances with all kinds of room and time. And that's a wicked mix for him because he's such a great shooter. You give him time, and the goalie doesn't have a lot of a chance. So what are we going? Kulak and Wallman on the second pairing here?
Well, no, Wallman's been playing with Klingberg, and Emberson was playing with Kulak when they go with 6.
Yeah, so I would just say this. Like, first of all, it's going to be hard for the Oilers because they're the road team tonight. We've seen the Kings, Doughty and Mikey Anderson, get McDavid every single chance they get, like the whole game. That's the only true hard match in this series for me. It's, sometimes Danault will get McDavid, usually Kopitar, but it's always Doughty's pair. So if I'm the Oilers, I'm probably going to go Kulak and whoever we're playing him with here against 9. I don't think that's. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that Bouchard and Nurse are a good hard match pair against that offensive, against that line? I'm not sure about that.
Nurse can skate with Kempe. That's the one, but so can Kulak.
Yeah,
it's, it's. I'd probably, if you were asking me, I'd play Nurse Kulak against Kempe, and I'd play Wallman with Bouchard.
Okay. That's not something we've seen, but I know that all the analytics tell you that Nurse and Bouchard aren't great together.
No, but remember, Nurse and Kulak played it quite a bit together this year, right?
Yeah.
Like that was they kind of split that pairing up because you had Stetcher a bit, but then Kulak would play more. They played a ton, and they are the 2 best skaters on the back end. And Kempe can fly, right? And so, you know what, they can close gaps and great. And for whatever reason, I think when Kulak's with Nurse, maybe calms them down a little bit. I'm not sure what it is, but that if you asked me and I got to pick, that's the pair I'd pick.
Okay, that's fair. Like, both those guys can really, really, really skate. So sure, they got to, Kempe's has an inordinate amount of their offense. I got to say, Fiala's been a really dangerous player too in this series. This is the best Fiala's played the playoffs for me since I've ever seen him. Best I've ever seen him. So those 2 guys score from distance on you. Like, they're wicked. They're coming off the dot, man, and the goalie's staring them down, and they just can't have time. You just can't give them a ton of time, or they will hurt you. So let's see how they do it tonight. I mean, one thing about these series, we're 5 games in. The coaches, I know they're still doing some X and O's, but the players got it figured out now. They've been playing against these guys every second night for a week here. So everyone in the Oilers knows what's going on with Fiala and Kempe. You don't have to tell them about it, that's for sure.
Before I let you go, Spec, did you get your driver's license? Can you rent a car?
Yeah, I didn't rent a car, but I actually did get my license. I got my credit card replaced, got my computer fixed, found my phone. So everything's been good. I'm knocking wood here.
Holy cow, man. Jeez.
What a bad trip.
Lost credit card. Holy. Hey, stay out of the bar, buddy. Like, hey, work, church, and home.
The credit card wasn't my fault. I went to get an Uber one day, and you ever get declined by Uber? I got declined by Uber. I'm like, wait a second. Uber can't decline me.
Well, isn't it already on there?
It is. So I phoned my credit card company and they go, "Oh, Mr. Spector, were you in a hunting and fishing store last night?" I go, "No, I'm covering hockey in LA and I don't have a credit card." So anyway, yeah, that was a bad trip. I had a lot of bad luck. Speaking of bad trips, what do you think of Tocchet in Vancouver?
Oh, man. Well, I'm not surprised at all. I didn't. I know he started out, hey, family stuff, and that's a nice one. I just think it comes way down to the organization. They offered him lots of money, and I really don't believe that he wants the drama. He's on the inside, Spec, and he knows the drama. And anybody who knows Rick Tocchet, that's not his MO, man. He's a straight shooter. He'll tell you like it is. Doesn't want the BS, and I think there's way too much BS in Vancouver.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. When we talk about how a team can't exist with all that superfluous drama around it because bad things happen. So now you're looking at the bad things. You got a coach you love and that your players love, and he's not staying because he has other options that have way less drama. You lost JT Miller, who was the heartbeat of that team in the playoffs last year.
Might lose Brock Besser.
Well, Bresser, yeah, whether you want to lose them or not, that's a different thing. And they don't appear to be that interested. But the last thing, and if I was writing that press conference today, like my friend Ian McIntyre is going to be for Sportsnet, my lead would be that Jim Rutherford phoned Quinn Hughes when they made this decision. And Rutherford said, geez, usually he gets right back to me. I hope he's on the golf course because he never called me back. I don't love that if I'm Jimmy Rutherford. Quinn Hughes not calling me back on this one.
Yeah, that's not good at all.
I don't love that. No.
Spec, enjoy the Harmonic Kings and the game. We will let you know tomorrow.
All right. Thanks, Jake.
There you go. Mark Spector joining us from LA. DVD is up next. Also, if you missed it, Aaron Ekblad, 2-game suspension for the blatant chicken wing to the head of Brandon Hagel. And Hagel's out, by the way. He's not playing. So Ekblad, who just came back, plays a few games, 3 and 4, and now he's out for another 2. That was, to me, that was kind of obvious. That was a pretty blatant one. And Hagel is out. So that's a big blow. Now, the only game they won was without him. So we'll see if that continues. We'll come back more on the orders. The Kings, we'll hear from Knobloch. We'll hear from Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, DVD, and more on the Gregor Show live and on the rocks. Jasper Ave, 118th. People are starting to file in because it is game night tonight. The orders, Game 5 against the Los Angeles Kings. Get in, reserve your table at On the Rocks.
If you bleed orange and blue and you're not using the all-new Play Alberta Sports and Casino app, then you're missing out. It's the only online sportsbook with odds boosts on all Oilers games. And now, it's not just sports. Play the slots, hit the tables, buy lottery tickets, all in one app, all across Alberta. Download Play Alberta now from your phone's app store and use promo code GOAL for a $100 bonus. That's promo code GOAL!
I take possession of my commercial space in 3 months. I need lighting. I need a fire alarm. I need data. I need a generator. I need panels.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Projects team reporting. We design, build, and construct all the electrical systems for your projects. Need everything to work right? Get the Action Electrical project team on your site.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
When St. Albert Dodge gets a deal, you get a deal. That's how it works. And right now, they've made a special purchase of new 2024 Ram Heavy Duty 2500 and 3500 model trucks. These are Cummins diesel models with an exclusive offer that you can only get at St. Albert Dodge. What's the deal? A no-charge Cummins engine option, which works out to $9,450 in savings for you. Over 35 available. Get yours now and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Dang. Last season, you bought new clubs to fix your game. You spent the entire season trying to learn how to hit with your magic clubs. And guess what? Dang. They didn't help your game. Now you're convinced it's your swing, but it really is your clubs. Even though you were told the ones you bought were the best ever made, if they were, you would have gotten better. Every day at Fitted Golf, we continue to prove the right clubs make all the difference in the world. From beginners to pros, Fitted Golf makes all the difference. Yes, fittedgolf.ca.
Want an easy way to protect your lifestyle and your loved ones? With Mortgage Guard from Cooperators, you can secure your mortgage through a chosen mix of life insurance and optional critical illness and disability benefits. Plus, unlike some other policies, your coverage amount stays the same despite your decreasing mortgage balance, and your beneficiary can use the proceeds any way they want. That's a lot of protection, all in one convenient plan. Contact Camrose Insurance Financial Solutions for more. Mortgage Guard is a registered trademark of and underwritten by Cooperators Life Insurance Company. Please refer to your policy for applicable coverage limitations and exclusions. Individual circumstances may vary.
At Vision Credit Union, we've been around a long time. In fact, we've been serving rural Alberta communities for 75 years. We launched in 1950 with $128, 21 members, and a mission to help our communities. It's still our mission today. That's why we return 75% of Vision's profits to members, offer full-service banking in underserved rural communities, and prioritize contributing to charitable causes in our hometowns. We're here for good. VisionCU.ca.
Spring sprung at the Varsity. Fresh new flavors are here just in time for the sunshine. Meet the delicious new spring feature menu with choices like the Spring Fling Burger and the Bourbon Glazed Brisket Sandwich, served with endless forever fries. Try the new Hearty Beef Stew and the pulled beef rib poutine too. No meal is complete without dessert. Sip on the new Leprechaun or Bailey's milkshakes for some extra goodness. Check out the Varsity at White Mud Crossing. Find the full menu and order online at varsityburgers.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor. Sherbrooke is a house of curiosities, a mom and pop, a curated experience that is equal parts wine tastings and 2 fours from May long. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$5:30. Welcome back, Sports 1440. You guys are making it really hard on me today. I'm not going to lie. Really difficult to focus on sports because, man, I just want to read all these text messages that we had talking about the best Seinfeld episode earlier. This is unbelievable. Oh, because, man, they're bringing back great memories. It's the Gregor Show live on the Rocks, Jasper Ave, and 118th Street. There's a few Kramer characters at OTR, I'll tell you that. God, they could make a show just after Dr. Wang. That'd be unbelievable, right? It's kind of got some Kramer in him a little bit, I would think. So, yeah, could Dell be George? Maybe. Dave would definitely be Jerry. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Get in the game. Use the promo code Gregor100. That's Gregor100. Next time you make a deposit or you sign up as a newbie, and you get a $100 free play at PlayAlberta.ca. I just do want to get to this one and then get to DVD. Hey, boys, what about the Merv Griffin episode where Kramer interviewed everyone? For a non-fan of the show, that episode was awesome from Dave. Oh, my God, Dave. There were so many parts of that show that episode that are off the charts good. First of all, that's the same episode when he's drugging his girlfriend so he can play with all her toys. Now, legally, like with the turkey. It's so stupid. Oh, we feed her a lot of turkey, then she falls asleep. Oh, classic. And then remember George? He runs into pigeons, and his girlfriend's so upset with him that she stops sleeping with him. And so George is like, and now pigeons, now they're not scared of him. It makes sense. So then he decides to swerve, and then ends up hitting the squirrel. And then the girlfriend's like, you got to pay for the rehab. Oh. And then Kramer, because his show isn't doing very well, he goes to like a Jerry Springer type atmosphere, and he gets Jerry to admit that he was drugging his girlfriend and then brings her on stage. Oh, my God. It was so funny. Cons, please tell me you've seen that episode.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've my parents loved Seinfeld. Ashley loves it. So I feel I've seen probably every episode, but I don't think I've retained it as well as most people.
Oh, buddy, that episode, like there is so much going on in that episode. And so like clearly but man, the text, I might finish this show just talking about all the texts and the favorite episodes. Cause man, it's hard to argue with them because so many of them are awesome. Absolutely awesome. Now let's talk a little playoff hockey right now. Derek Van Diest joins us. The playoff report brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. It's Truck Punt. Stop in right now and get $5,000 cash purchase credit on 2025 Sierra HD models only at your Alberta GMC dealers. Derek Van Diest from NHL.com joins us. And DVD, do you have a favorite Seinfeld episode?
I like the marine biologist one when Kramer's hitting golf balls into the ocean, and then he's walking down the beach. George's walking down the beach, and that speech at the end of that episode where he talks about being the marine biologist and reaching in and pulling out the obstruction, and it's a Titleist. That to me, that broke me. I still find it hilarious. That's one of my favorite episodes of all time. It's just the marine biologist one is a good one.
The sea was angry that day, is my friend. Like an
old man trying to send back soup and help.
Oh my God!
That's a great line. That's just a fantastic line.
And Kramer's in the booth. Is that a Titleist?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so awesome. Now, I don't know. Hey, the order, there's been some good episodes in this series, man. Like you think about like game one, the orders are down and out. They come back twice with the extra attacker on, they score, and then the Kings come back and they win the game. Crazy. Then game two is really the only one that was kind of uncontested. Game three had the orders come back, they tie it, the fans celebrate once, and they review it, they celebrate again. Then they challenge it, worst challenge ever, and they celebrate it for a third time. And then, of course, we had the theatrics in game 4 with Bouchard with 29 seconds and overtime. Like, man, as a writer, like this, I know it sucks because you're having to change your copy at the last minute DVD, but man, this is pretty easy to write when it comes to describing a series that has had so many storylines.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Tonight's going to be fun as well. And it's funny because you look back at that challenge when we were all kind of wondering what they were challenging, and it was the tying goal. And at the time, LA was still, that game could go into overtime, could go anywhere. And then the Oilers score 8 seconds later, whatever it was. That could be a huge turning point in this series, that challenge. And I know Jim Hiller's, he's defended that challenge, and we're still looking at what he saw, what he didn't see. I talked to Darcy Kemper, and I basically said, hey, what was the challenge there? Did they knock the stick out of your hand? He goes, I have no idea. He goes, I'm just trying to make a play. I dropped the stick to dive across the net, so that wasn't it. So we're all still looking for where the possible challenge was. And it was a risk and reward thing. And I don't think the risk was worth the reward. And it ended up costing him the game. So I think, and then you look at the next game and yeah, they probably should have won that game. But, Fiala hits the goalpost late. Quentin Byfield can't get the clear when he had all day to just chip the puck out of the zone. He talked about that a little today. How, yeah, that was a mistake and probably should have done it. Should have done something better with the puck. And so that one, that Oilers go on and dominate overtime, win in overtime. So, yeah, it's been, if you're the LA Kings, you're kind of looking at yourself going, we had this series totally under control, and now things don't look good. I hope, they bring the harmonica ladies back today, because they're going to need some good juju again.
Yeah, well, they're going to need something. And, hey, at this time of the year, people will try to latch on to anything to get to, hey, you know what, we're going to feel good. We got the Harmonic Kings coming back. I feel like this is a more of a big win for LA that's needed here. Edmonton wins this game. Now they've won 3 in a row. Doesn't guarantee they win the series, but, and the LA Kings, after everything that's transpired, you lose this game at home, and now, because we forget, as great as they are at home, they're the worst road team all year long amongst playoff teams in the West. Only Carolina had fewer wins in the regular season amongst any of the playoff teams. And so, man, I just feel like there's a lot of pressure around. We had Dennis Bernstein on in the first hour, and he's a lot closer to the Kings than I am. And he said he senses just a lot of tension, was his word. How do you, like, the first 10 minutes here, the Oilers, maybe you can take advantage of a team that's maybe a little tense.
Yeah, did he talk about kissing, making up with Jim Hiller today? Because it sounds like they whatever issues they had the other night, they've kind of worked them out. But they have a pretty interesting issue there, relationship there. But yeah, it's tense because they had them, and it reminds me of 2003 when the Oilers were down 2-1 in the series, and then they fell down 3-0 in the game 5. And everyone's like, oh, boy, this is trouble. And they pulled Skinner and they put in Campbell. And everyone thought, oh, man, they're in big trouble now. And they managed to pull out that game and go on and win the series. And they remember that. Like, people remember that. They remember game 6 here in 2002 and when they won the game, and then the Oilers went back home and won the series in 7. So to the LA Kings, the Edmonton Oilers have become what the Montreal Canadiens were the Boston Bruins in the 70s. Just a team they can't beat. Like, they could be the better team. They just can't beat them. And for whatever reason, luck happens, things happen, and the Oilers find a way to win. And I think right now it's almost become a psychological thing. It's like, God, we can't beat this hockey team. Yes, they have McDavid and Draisaitl, but the Kings honestly believe that this year they had the best team to face the Edmonton Oilers. They had the best goalie to face the Edmonton Oilers. They got Vezina finalist in net this time around. And my God, if they lose this game, then you're looking at, wow, we just threw away the series because they were in total control. Even when they came back in game 3, I think a lot of people in Edmonton are like, oh boy, we're in big trouble here if the Kings keep rolling. And now how the fortunes have turned so quickly. And yeah, it's going to be a very tense place, and I'm going to be interested to see in the building tonight how tense it gets in the building if things don't go their way right away.
Yeah, no, that's totally true. Derek Van Diest joins us. The sun's just beating in right in my face here at OTR. It's pretty funny. But when you look at the Oilers themselves, and Chris Knobloch said yesterday, we got to be much better to start the games here. You know, we're way too tentative. We're way too passive early on. So when you talk to the players, any of them give you any insights today on how they can get rid of that early in games?
Yeah, they are all saying that. We talked to Ron Nugent Hopkins today. They need a better start. They need a better start. But I've been hearing this from the Edmonton Oilers for the last 4 seasons. And this is a team that it seems they don't play their best hockey unless their backs are firmly against the wall, unless they got to roll that bowler up the hill. Like they just need that adversity for some reason for them to come out and play their best hockey. Now, this is the team I expected them to get to slow start in this series because they had so many guys coming back after missing, parts of the end of the regular season. So I figured that the longer the series goes, the better it will be for those guys, for guys like Trent Frederick, for guys like Wallman, for guys that missed some time. Even Zach Hyman missed the last 3 games. So Evander Kane. So the longer this goes, the more in tune they'll get, the more game speed these guys will get. So I think they're looking at that. But yeah, they got to come out. They want to be a physical force. They want to be a physical team right off the bat, and they want to challenge the Kings. And I think that's the way you do it. You got to come out and challenge them. And now you're looking at an LA Kings team that they've only played 3 lines the whole series. They've only played essentially 4 defensemen the whole series. And now you're getting into the meaty part of the series, the games 5, the game 6, game 7. That's something that the owners are looking at, going, hey, we can really kind of lean on these guys and wear them down as the series goes along.
Derek Van Diest joins us from NHL.com. DVD, I know you cover Winnipeg at the same time, man, and you look at that Jets team and where they're at with Hellebuck and all the numbers. Like in St. Louis, they got destroyed. And the Blues made a very, we talk about pre-scouting, and we talked with Kevin Woodley about what the Oilers do with Kemper, and they're really trying to attack from below the goal line, and it's worked. And this is now the second year in a row. There seems to be a clear scouting report on how you can make Connor Halley look way less elite of a goalie.
Yeah, they can, but I think the Jets have to do a better job of letting them see pucks clearing from front of the net. They got to be more physical. The Blues are a big, strong team, and they're a simple team. They're going to throw the puck at the net, and they're going to look for rebounds. And I think the Blues, to me, are playing with house money because no one expected them to be here. They needed 14-game winning streak to get into the playoffs towards the end of the season, and no one gave them a chance against Winnipeg, especially after those first 2 games. So now they're back in the series. But yeah, they're just going out there and playing hard, and I think it starts to get nervous in Winnipeg because Winnipeg is expected to do well. Last year they crashed out in 5 games. Now you're looking at, wow, what if they crash out again? You look at Hellebuyck, he's going to win the Vezina hands down. He's been the best goalie in the league all year. And what happens if he balloons in the playoffs and things go wrong here? So the pressure's on Winnipeg, but I do think the Blues do a good job of getting a lot of people in front of the net, winning those battles in front of the net, getting shots through. That's a big thing. You can have 20 guys in front of the net, but if you can't get a shot through, it doesn't make it much of a difference. They're doing a good job with that. So yeah, they just have to figure it out. But I think it becomes, letting him. I think if Hellebuyck sees the puck, he's going to stop it. If he makes the first save, he's got to make the first save. But you got to get in there, clear rebounds, let him see the puck, and you'll be fine. But I think that's what right now is that the Jets are losing those battles in front of the net.
Yeah, DVD. Enjoy the game tonight. Enjoy the harmonica and whatever else they have going on. And we will chat about it next Tuesday. Have yourself a great day.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me on. Talk to you later.
There you go. That is Derek Van Diest from NHL.com. And, the Jets say they got a little extra day's rest between games because they'll go tomorrow night. And I don't know, is that good or bad? I have no idea. I still think the Jets are going to find a way to pull that series out. But, and Hellebuyck, you probably could have one good game and they figured out. But St. Louis, clearly, you just look at the disparity in shots on goal from their defensemen the first 2 games till games 3 and 4. It doubled, right? In games 3 and 4, their forwards had a combined 50 shots. Their defensemen had 51. It's rare that you have 50-50 split shots forwards to defense. You don't really want that normally, but clearly against Winnipeg, you do because the shots don't matter if you're not crashing the net. So it's twofold. We're getting the puck back to the point and we're shooting, and it's worked. We'll come back. We'll update you on the lineup here from Non-Block Nuge and more on the Jason Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. It's Lotto Max Tuesday. Get your tickets, $65 million. Whew. You could buy a lot of order tickets for that. Tickets at playalberta.ca.
Spring style and road-ready performance are more affordable than ever. Now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Lease or finance a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save up to $5,000. Lease a 2025 XC60 plug-in hybrid from 4.9% and save $3,000. Lease or finance a 2025 XC40 from 0.49% and save $2,000. Get ready for the open road at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better services, only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
I'm tired of waking up tired. Waking up tired. Are you tired of waking up tired? Come visit our sleep experts at the Brick Mattress Store. Get Canada's guaranteed lowest prices on all things sleep. Plus, try your new mattress for 6 months. If you don't love it, we'll find one you do. Some conditions apply. Stop waking up tired. Get the right mattress, guaranteed. Only at the Brick Mattress Store.
Get ready to revolutionize your job site with Edmonton Kubota's game-changing compact construction equipment. From mini excavators and skid steers to track loaders, carriers, and utility vehicles, they have a model to fit every need, all powered by legendary Kubota diesel engines. These machines are built for performance and reliability. Transform your work with Edmonton Kubota's top-of-the-line compact equipment. Visit them today and see why they're the name you can trust for power and precision.
Thursday, May 8th is McHappy Day, when every menu item purchased at McDonald's helps support families with sick children. So you can feel the good that comes from doing good, just from ordering.
So if I order a Big Mac, I'm helping.
Yup.
What about a McFlurry? 10-piece chicken McNuggets and apple pie?
You got it. Every single order helps. Join us at McDonald's for McHappy Day on Thursday, May 8th. Do good, feel good. A portion of food and beverage sales will support RMHC chapters and local children's charities across Canada.
Are you an HVAC or refrigeration company stressed about meeting your customers' temporary refrigeration needs? No need to worry. The solution is easy. Think Easy Chill Rentals. For repair, maintenance, or even special events, Easy Chill Rentals guarantees you a no-hassle, short or long-term solution for your refrigeration needs. Easy Chill provides mobile walk-in coolers and freezers to customers all over Western Canada. For sales and rentals, don't sweat it, just chill. With Easy Chill Rentals, visit easychillrentals.com today.
Every morning, you look in the mirror and see less of yourself. Hair loss can feel like losing a part of who you are.
But it doesn't have to be that way. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we understand the pain of hair loss. Our advanced hair restoration solutions won't just bring back your hair, they'll help you face the mirror with confidence.
Good morning, you sexy beast.
Visit drvanceelliott.com today because it's time to be the man you remember.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows. Locally manufactured and installed, Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Gregor, Halley, Declan Kruger, as we wrap up. Man, this show has just flown right by. Can't believe the show's almost over. Of course, it's a playoff day. You have the early game tonight. Has Toronto taking on the Ottawa Senators. Ottawa is in a must-win situation late in the first period, and the Sens are on a power play. They'll be on a power play unless they score to finish the period. They trail. It's 0-0. But how about early on the road in a must-win situation? The New Jersey Devils score 2 goals in $1:45 in the first 5.5 minutes of the game. Dawson Mercer and Timo Meier, and they lead 2-0 against the Hurricanes. So that's a huge start. Kochetkov is in goal, and now I haven't seen the highlights of the game to see but Anderson's out, and Kochetkov's allowed 2 goals on the first 6 shots of the game for the New Jersey Devils. So great start for the Devils. They couldn't have asked for a better start. You're up 2-0, and now we're 7.5 minutes into the game. So they're trying to stave off elimination, baby. I would love to see it. Teams, both the Devils and the Sens, just, extend the playoffs a little bit longer. Why not? Why not? Hey, guys, the Oilers never like the easy way. They'll get down early and come back and win. Well, you hope so, but even if they give up the first goal, the odds of winning 2 games in a row are pretty low. In this series, over 4 years, the team who scores first, 19-3. Now, LA has lost twice. They're 7-2, including, of course, and it's both been games 4. Remember, game 4 in 2023, the Oilers were down 3-0. They score 3 goals in the second to tie it. Then they go down 4-3. Then Kane ties it with 3 minutes left, and then Hyman wins it in overtime. Last game, down 2-0, down 3-1. This time going into the third, Bouchard scores twice. Draisaitl wins it in overtime. So those are the 2. And Kopitar was the one who won the game with 17 seconds left when the Oilers scored first. So those are the only 3 times. The Oilers, here's a good stat for you. On the road in LA, when the Oilers score first, they are 5-0. So they obviously they're 6-4 all time in LA over the last 4 years. So they want the first goal, baby. When they score first, they've been pretty good on the road. Now let's get to our lineup report brought to you by Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. For the Oilers, no lineup changes. Now we're going to have different line combinations. We know Pickard's starting. Who's even starting together on defense? I don't know. Bouchard, Nurse, Wallman, Klingberg, Kulak, Emerson. That's how they practice. They might start like that, but keep in mind that Nurse and Kulak have started the last 2 games together. So even from the opening faceoff, the pairings are different. Up front at the morning skate, which I don't put a whole bunch of stock in, but you had McDavid back with Hyman and Nugent Hopkins, Draisaitl with Arvidsson and Podkolzin. You had Brown and Kane and Henrique, and then Frederick, Perry, and Matthias Janmark. But we will see what the lines are. The LA Kings, they will bring Mr. Spence back in the lineup. He hasn't played very much. This guy averaged 16 minutes and 47 seconds a game all year in 3 playoff games. And so he was a healthy scratch in 1. So you'd look at it in the series in 4 games. Spence has played a grand total of 18 minutes and 47 seconds. 18:25, even worse. So we'll see. It's Kemper versus Pickard. Both goalies the last 2 games, good goalie environment, but the Oilers are finding ways to get goals past Kemper. Look for them again to attack from below the goal line. That's where they like to get a lot of the plays started, and Kemper seems to have a little bit of weakness there. So we'll see if that continues. We got Andrew Walker, Donovan Paulson coming up on the pre-game show. So enjoy that. They'll take you right to the puck drop, and then we'll have all the post-game reaction. Oilers either going to be up 3-2, down 3-2. It should be a hell of a lot of fun. Enjoy it. On behalf of Connor Halley, I'm Jason Gregor. Be sure to get down here to OTR, starting to fill up. Jasper Ave 118th. Their place to watch the game with lots of great fans. Have a good time and great specials. Jasper Ave 118. Here's the Con Man Sports 1440 update brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game, use the promo code Gregor100, get a free play on your next deposit. PlayAlberta.ca. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game day, Oilers Kings down in Los Angeles. Puck drop just after 8 o'clock. Our pregame coverage coming up next with Andrew Walker, Donovan Paulson. They'll be joined, as always, by Landon Ferraro and special guest Gene Principe. Right now, Devils on top of the Hurricanes, 2-0 midway through the first. And after 20 out in Toronto, scoreless between the Leafs and the Sens. Later tonight, you got the Wild and Golden Knights meeting in Vegas. That series tied at 2 games apiece in the association. 1 game going on right now. Pacers looking to wrap up their series with the Bucks. Though the Bucks do lead 47-41 at half. Later tonight, Knicks and Pistons from New York at 6:30. Celtics can wrap up their series with the Magic leading 3-1. And at 8 o'clock, Clippers in Denver. That series tied at 2 games apiece. Major League Baseball right now, the Blue Jays Not ideal. Trailing the Red Sox 7-0 midway through the third. Elsewhere, Phillies have a 3-0 lead over the Nationals. Royals lead the Rays 2-0. Scoreless between the Yankees or the Guardians and the Twins. Yankees lead the Orioles 9-0. And Mets have a 4-0 lead over the Diamondbacks in the third. CFL draft today. Damian Alford going first overall. Wide receiver out of Utah. The Edmonton Elks making their first selection. Defensive lineman from Queens, Darian Noel. That's going to do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, we've got pregame coverage. Andrew Walker, Donovan Paulson. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.